What it do, Rebel Militia crew. We have some crazy news. Some trades going on. One was absolutely expected, and we, already knew it was going to happen. And then the other trade.
Oh, my lord, really? Oh, my lord, really?
That's what I got to say about that. The Rams go out and trade for Myles Garrett, brings a team that was this close from making the Super Bowl last year, the sack leader. And, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy breaks that sack leader record with the Rams over there. You have Trent McDuffie, I do believe, is the corner that they traded for. They have the Byron Young, the one that the Raiders were supposed to draft, but then drafted the wrong Byron Young, I do believe. So they do believe in him. They have him over there as well. And, they got Chris Shula, up and coming young defense, still defensive coordinator, still trying to put it all together, but comes from that, that nice tree over there. So the Rams, they go out, they get their guy, they get Myles Garrett, they bring him in the building. They obviously think that's the missing piece, right? There was a lot of talk about them drafting Ty Simpson, and obviously they're preparing for the future, right? But if you're preparing for the future, don't you think a guy like Jared Verse, who is third all time since he's been in the league in pressures, right? This man has plenty of upside. Myles Garrett, yes, is Myles Garrett. And if you're just trying to win a Super Bowl and you're willing to, give up an all-pro caliber player and a draft pick to win that Super Bowl, then, it is what it is. It says a lot about the Rams and the F those picks that, they've always been very, very highly on not really caring about those first-round picks, right? I wish the Raiders were in a position like that where, we could trade first-round picks and never have to worry about it. And it seems like we're heading in that direction. So shout out to everybody in the building. And then, if you're the Cleveland Browns, I mean, come on, bro. You already had a first-round pick. So now you have a first-round pick. Now you have the Rams' first-round pick, which probably won't be very high, somewhere in the 30s, right? Maybe even 32 with Myles Garrett in the building. So then you have a second, a third, I think 2/3, 3/4, 2/5, right? A seventh. I mean, they got plenty of guys in the building. They drafted Schlesinger last year, right? They went and got I always forget his name, probably because but they went and got the defensive tackle last year, right? So they got players in the building. They got a nice young defense over there, and you bring a guy in like Jared Verse that is very versatile, right? Like I said, he's third in the NFL in pressures. We'll get to that list in a minute. I'll show it here in a little bit. Somebody remind me because I'll probably forget. Let me make it right here. Make a note. Pressure list. I just got to remind myself to look over there. Put a mental note. So, yeah, man, two teams, going wild over there. And I think both of them win, right? Both of them win. But for the future, you have to look at the Browns with the draft picks they collected over there, the draft picks they had this year, last year. I mean, golly, they get a new coach in Monken over there, right? If they can just figure out the quarterback in Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns could be one of them teams very, very quickly. If they could get good quarterback play this year, even losing to Myles Garrett, bringing in Verse, it's a loss, but it's not a huge loss when you bring in a guy like a Jared Verse, 25 years old, one of my favorite young players in the league. So the Cleveland Browns are on the up and up, and there's reports coming out, which, I mean, it's only common sense, that if the Cleveland Browns don't get solid play, right, from the quarterback this year, look for them to, be one of those number one teams or the worst team in the NFL and go out and get their quarterback. But you don't even have to be the worst team in the NFL. You could be the third, the fifth, the 7th, the 12th, the 15th, and probably still land a very solid quarterback in next year's draft if the players come out that are projected to come out, right? So the Browns are setting themselves up. in great positions, just like the Las Vegas Raiders have been doing. And then the other trade, we all, anticipated it. Everybody knew it was coming. AJ Brown's time. And man, I did a video a couple days ago talking about trade receivers, and I don't know why I mixed AJ Brown with Devontae Smith. But anyways, that's nonsense. But anyways, so yeah, you go get AJ Brown, and the Patriots come out smelling like a rose, right? You bring in Stephon Diggs for a year. He makes your quarterback better instantly. You bring in a guy like AJ Brown that makes your quarterback instantly. No matter what they want to say about the sideline drama, I thought his career was being sabotaged over there. I mean, the man could put up 200 yards a game if you just throw him the damn ball. In my opinion, right? Great receiver, strong, is going to win most of those contested catches, damn good route runner, veteran, and you just got to make guys like that happy. So did Spytek and the Raiders miss out on an opportunity? We'll get into that as well. But as far as the Patriots, right, you move on from a guy like Diggs who had some problems, took you, helped get you to a Super Bowl, and then you go get a guy like AJ Brown and you bring him in. So if you have, the money to do that, that's nice for the Patriots, right? Having that luxury. Unfortunately for us, we weren't the Patriots last year who spent all their money last year and then saved this year. Maybe next year, right? Maybe next year we'll be one of those teams since we spent all our money this year. Maybe next year we could, pick and choose and be prepared for a trade situation like that if needed, right? If needed or not needed. So, and then also we are going to talk about which free agents could price themselves out of Las Vegas in 2027, right? If you don't know what I mean by price themselves out of Las Vegas, well, stay tuned to find out. And then rookies pushing for veterans roster, and then a whole bunch of other stuff we're going to talk about. But anyways, you bring AJ Brown back to Vrabel, the guy who traded him in the first place in Tennessee, I do believe, right? So there's a connection there. You bring him back. How good are the Patriots going to be? Is there going to be, problems in the locker room with the whole Vrabel controversy? It doesn't seem like it. But you give, a quarterback, up and coming superstar quarterback in Drake May, a receiver like AJ Brown, who is going to be his number one target, which he should have been for Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, but wasn't. So, yeah, big trades making noise. What does that mean for the Las Vegas Raiders? Let me know in the comments below. It doesn't matter what it means for the Las Vegas Raiders. It means nothing. We played them twice. I had the Browns as a win. I still have the Browns as a win. I had the Rams as a loss. I still have the Rams as a loss. Even though I'm a Raider fan, I bleed silver and black, and I think we're going to have a damn good year. I'm not stupid and I'm not blind. The Rams is one of the best teams in the NFL, and if they could get, it together, and we play a lot of best teams in the NFL. But the Rams and McVay, we've played them well in the past. We lost the game in the fourth quarter thanks to Baker Mayfield, with 1 day's rest, right? So the history is there with the Rams. We haven't won in LA. Thank God they're coming to us. We have a game in LA second week of the season. Will the Raiders get their first win? We might talk about that in a little bit. But all in all, the Eagles, they went out and they drafted who'd they draft? Mekhi Lemon, right? They went and got Mekhi Lemon, so that's going to take a lot of snaps from AJ Brown. So if you're the Eagles, man, that team over there just keeps, I don't know how they do it, but they just keep getting better and better and better. Getting draft picks for players that they wasn't even their vocal point, right? But as a superstar, he took them to, helped take them to 2 Super Bowls, won 1, lost 1. So big win for the Patriots. Huge win for the Eagles, getting Mekhi Lemon and then, getting rid of AJ Brown, albeit it was, for a 2008 first round pick and a fifth round pick next year. So my question is to you, did the Raiders miss out on a chance to go get their number one receiver, right? All the talk in the nation from a lot of fans is that's what we're lacking. We need that guy, right? We need the guy to take pressure off of Brock Bowers. We need that number one guy so Trey Tucker could be number 2. right, and dominate over there and not end up going against, their first or second best receiver, depending on who we play. Because a lot of people are going to put their best guy on Brock Bowers, whether it's a corner or, a safety, more than likely. So it takes the pressure off of Trey Tucker. He could be that number 3 guy where he could work, right, have a little bit more speed, not be doubled, and not have to worry about, any of that, and he could be Trey. So the Raiders, I mean, you look at a guy like AJ Brown, right? He's made over $150 million, probably plus, in the NFL, and he still drives a $20,000 car, right? $25,000 car, a Honda or a Hyundai, whatever. So the dude doesn't care about his appearance. He doesn't care about what he drives. It gets him to and from, right? He doesn't go all over. A smart man, a veteran, been to 2 Super Bowls, right? Been bounced around the league. And what better player, even for the price, if you're trying to, win now, like a lot of people seem to think that, that's the goal, right? And if you're not trying to win every game now, then that's a failure in my book. So you're trying to win now, whether it's a rebuild or not. You got the pieces in the building, and you need a number 1 wide receiver. And what better way to help your rookie quarterback Fernando, when he does get to play, or your 38-year-old veteran Kirk Cousins, succeed? You go get him a AJ Brown, right? So, being the fact that it was a first overall pick next year, man, if I'm the Raiders and Spytek, and I'm gonna say why, both ways, but if I'm the Raider and Spytek, I'm definitely making those phone calls. And maybe he did, and maybe maybe they were offering a little bit less and they didn't think he was worth it. Our general manager and John Spytek spent some time in Philly. Not sure if AJ Brown was there or not. I have to look that up. But maybe, he made some phone calls and was like, hey, what is this guy? Or maybe he called AJ Brown himself. We don't know, right? We don't know if the Raiders had anything to do with it. But I feel like they could have missed out on an opportunity. If you're telling me that, this team is as good as a lot of people think they're going to be, right? The defense is fast. They're flying around. You bring Max Crosby back. You bring in, you lose 6 starters. You bring in probably 7 or 8 starters with free agency and the draft, and maybe some UDFA guys that might sneak out there, right? Devin Lafayette. So if you're the Raiders, man, and you have an opportunity to bring in a guy like AJ Brown, he just wants the ball. And I know you got Brock Bowers, and I know you got Trey Tucker. He doesn't have to be your number 1 target all the time. He's not asking for, 20 targets a game, but the man just wanted to be, involved a lot more than sitting on the bench and watching him run the ball. So the Raiders, possibly could have missed out on an opportunity to bring in that guy that could have helped Kirk Cousins and Fernando. But if the, Spytek and Tom Brady and the big brass in the building feel like they don't need, an AJ Brown, and they're happy with these receivers that they got, hey, I'm all for it. I'm they know shit. They probably forgot more about football than I'll ever know. So I'm not arguing with these dudes, but man, shout out to the people in the building. I don't know who's out here. I've been on a soap for a minute. But what y'all think about the trade? Let me know. Who won the trade? Was it Cleveland? Was it the Rams, right? Let me know. Myles Garrett, right, with his age. I mean, how long are you getting Myles Garrett for, right? We seen what happened with the Cowboys when they went and, the Packers when they went and traded for Micah Parsons, right? So, man, those are always questions that linger in my mind. It should linger in everybody. Sacktown in the building. Who else we got? Oh, damn. Why am I so far back? Lawrence, my guy, first one in the building. What it do? Appreciate you, my brother. How is your health? I hope everything is well. I've been praying for you, family. That just shows that the other teams think about Max. They could have got him for less. Man, oh, man. There you go. I mean, there you go. The OG has spoken, and he has spoken well, right? Like it says a lot. It says a lot about Max Crosby and what people think, he's worth with his knee, the situation, right, of being happy you were leaving, and then, all of a sudden you got to come back, right? We talked about this channel a bunch of times. That's, thank God for Max Crosby and the Raiders having so much faith and, believing in Max Crosby, because it's not too many times, right? You you get booted, right? Or you boot out your ex, and then you have to take them back because something happened and nobody wanted them or they had nowhere else to go, right? So, I mean, it's a rough situation over there, and Mac's gonna have a rough year, right? He knows he's got a lot more to do, and way more is required than just more is required. And you're right. I mean, you probably, well, I don't know. The Raiders weren't budging on less than 2, so if the Raiders still want 2 first rounds, I don't know if you got them for too much less. But yeah, I mean, if you're asking me right now, I think Byron Young's worth 2 first rounds. I know he was drafted a first round, but come on, man. The way he's played. Let me look that up right now before I forget. Bookmarks. Oh, it's the first one. All right. Most pressures in the NFL over the last 2 seasons, right? 25-year-old Jared Verse is third on this list. Myles Garrett at 167. Josh Hines Allen out of Jacksonville. Damn, I didn't know that. All right. Okay. Josh Hines Allen out of Jacksonville with 158. Shout out to everybody in the building. If you like this content, like, subscribe, tickle the noti so you're notified when I go live. And then y'all could be waiting when I come in, right? No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, Josh Hines Allen with 158. That is what, 9 less than Myles Garrett. It's pretty good company right there. And then you got Jared Verse at 10. He's only 1 under Josh Hines Allen with 157 pressures. And I know y'all want to know where Max is on this list, right? Well, stay tuned. Micah Parsons, Green Bay Packers, 149 pressures in the last 2 seasons. Darnell Hunter, Houston, 149 pressures in the last 2 seasons. Damn, that's more than Will Anderson. Okay. So Darnell Hunter got 5 more than Will Anderson. Zach Allen at a Detroit at a Denver has 148. Aiden Hutchinson at a Detroit has 145. Will Anderson Jr. has 144. Chris Jones, the defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, has 137. And Nick Bonito, Denver, has 133. Where does Max Crosby fit on this list? I do not know. I will have to go look it up on Pro Football Network and find out where he fits, but I wouldn't imagine he's much farther than Nick Bonito, right? Let me know your comments. Hi today. What's good, my brother? How you doing? Candy Angel in the building. What's good? What's good? You wore the white one. Yeah, you know, gotta mix it up. Can't be wearing the same hat every day. Faded Raider. What's good? What's Gucci with it? Sacktown Mike in the building. What's good, OG? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Who else we got? Navy Vet in the building. What? What's good, my brother? No overtime today? Or I came on early enough? Nice. It's always fun when my guy Navy Vet's in the building. Shout out to my man on the grind. Putting in work out there. Putting in work. You praise AOC. It shows you're not a true Raider fan. He's a bum. Oh, bro. I don't know if we could be friends anymore. I'm not a true Raider fan. That shit hurts more than anything. I don't give a fuck about AOC, but not a true Raider fan? Come on, dog. That's cold, bro. That's cold, bro. That's cold, bro. You know what I got to say about that? You know what I got to say about that?
Oh, my Lord, really?
Oh, my Lord. Really? That's fucked up shit. How dare you speak to me like that? Not a true Raider. Because AOC, the cerebral assassin, is better than every quarterback that's been in the building since we drafted him. That's not my fault. It's not my fault. You don't have to agree. Navy Vet in the building. Oh, nice. They made me an assistant. Oh, shit. Okay. I mean, oh, poop. Nice. Who else we got? Raider Paul in the building. What's good, my brother? What's good? Rebel Raiders versus Texans. I got my tickets, bro. I got my tickets already. I'm set up. I'm good to go. Houston. And I'm glad you brought that up because that leads me to my next segment in this show. And that segment is Raiders. Okay, that's not the segment, but it sounded like one. Anyways, the next segment is I'll find it. But it definitely is what I'm going to talk about. So there is a report that says, wait, what the hell is all this? There is a report that says the Las Vegas Raiders could decide who their quarterback is by week 2 of the preseason. Now, everybody knows who we play in week 2, right? It's the Houston Texans. I will be at that game. So we will have footage. We will let you know which player was better, which player looked better, who ran with what. I know y'all be watching, but still, we're going to have a breakdown of it. We're going to have some interacting with fans if we can find any Raider fans in Houston. We don't never know, but you know how we travel. So there will be plenty. I know there's ones that always go no matter what. Yeah, definitely going to be in Houston. But they were saying is the Raiders could definitely decide who their quarterback is by week 2 of the preseason. And I can't find the damn report. Aiden O'Connell is all over Raiders news, bro. Every report is about Aiden O'Connell. High media, right? Everybody's talking about how it's going overlooked. The only person that said anything about his 3 touchdowns was Levi Edwards and Waugh, right? I think no, but there was not really a lot. But there's been a couple reports come out by Levi Dumbro who said, nice report about Aiden O'Connell. There's been a report on Silver and Black that came out about Aiden O'Connell, right? The odd man out. He's building up his stock. Or is he making it harder for the Raiders not to let him leave the building, right? Not to let him leave the building. Man, I can't find that at all. Oh, yeah. So Ryan McFadden thinks the Raiders will make their quarterback pick after week 2 of the preseason. Sounds like a sensible date to circle on your calendar, as the Texans matchup will provide a lot of answers, right? Their defense is solid. They have lots of depth. It's been solid for for quite a while now, and it just seems to keep getting better. The Raiders, however, with a pretty awfully coached team last year, was this close from knocking off the Texans. Can they do it again in the preseason? And who will be that quarterback that steps up and shines and shows that this job is his? Well, I'm so glad I will be there to watch. I don't know. We will find out. Will it be Mendoza? Will it be the cerebral assassin? Will it be Kirk Cousins? Man, we don't know. Sack found, good weed connection. Nice. That's always a damn good thing. What else we got? Get through these chats so I don't forget anybody. Raiders, what's good? 7528. What tickets? Houston. The Houston preseason game. That's all I got so far. But there's a reason for that, right? I got other games that I'm planning on going to, but my son works on Sundays and, don't really need to take the time off. So it was either a Thursday game, which we have none of during the season, right? Because he's off on Thursdays and Fridays. So it was either a Thursday game, which, again, we have no primetime games on Thursday. And that probably would have been the game. So the only Thursday game just happened to be, Houston. So it'll be his first game That'll be awesome. 25 going to his first Raider game. And maybe it'll get him a little bit more involved with the team. You know, he's a fan, but definitely not like me or like y'all or like us, right? He's getting there though. And maybe hopefully we can go out, win a game, show that this team is on the rise and change his mind. So maybe he'll sit down and watch a full game before he gets up shaking his head going, right? Right? Horrible world we live in. Horrible world we live in. Furpo in the building. Raiders. Crenshaw, my guy, what's good? What's good? Actually, as soon as I get done talking about all this other stuff, I might drop a link if I have enough time. So let me get through these comments really quick, and then we might pull some people up because I want to hear y'all's opinion. Lawrence heard the same talk about Plunkett 40 years ago. How did that turn out? Oh, okay. Okay. My guy Frank Weber in the building. Shout out to you, my brother. Seats and section. It is right behind the goalpost. I think section D. I don't know. I have to look on my phone. Hold on. I don't know. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. But we're like a couple rows from the field. So yeah, that's where we'll be. That's where we'll be. I don't have any Knicks tickets. I don't have any Knicks tickets. But damn, I would love to be at a Knicks playoff game. That would be nice, man. 27 years since they've been there. Who y'all got? Who y'all got? We'll talk about that probably in a little bit here too. Who do y'all got? San Antonio or the New York Knicks? Who do you think takes it and win? And win. Trying to get to the Saints game. So am I. But it's week 3 and it's a little early. And, you know, it's a lot of money, bro. It's a lot of money. I got to know where we're at first. I'm looking more like, I think, more than likely the Kansas City game at week 17. I think the room's already located, just not booked yet. And, you know, should have plenty of time. It's week 17, right? Should have plenty of time. But we'll see. Freezing cold in Kansas City. Yeah, I hope it's for something. Whether it's to put them out of the playoffs, whether it's to put us in, right? I don't know. I don't know. Something, anything. Hell yes, I get to see Mendoza. See you there, right? Mendoza, AOC. Hopefully not too much Kirk Cousins because it's only the second preseason game. And I don't know why he would, you know, need more than a couple snaps or, you know, two series at the most. Right? Do what? Do what? What you mean? What you mean, my guy? Nah, shout out to the Jags fan over there. Shout out to the Jags fan. You do have the second most pressure. What's going on in my hat, bro? Why did it get all jacked up? Somebody sat on it. Oh yeah. If Lawrence ain't in here giving me shit, it's not a show, right? It's just not. It's not. Especially if he's not talking about Aiden O'Connell, and we all know it's his favorite player. He probably got a stack of AOC rookie cards, probably all over. Raiders having joint practice with the Texans before their preseason game. Yeah, that's gonna help too, right? That's gonna help Aiden O'Connell. That's gonna help Fernando Mendoza, right? Whoever gets most of those reps in the practice is definitely gonna look, you know, have the opportunity to shine. And if it's, you know, the word on the street or the word in the dome is what I'm gonna start saying, right? The word in the dome is, and don't be stealing my shit. The word in the dome is the quarterback should be projected by the end of that game. So 2 joint practices. The only thing is I I mean, I don't know. I might. I'll see. But everything's already done and taken care of. And unless I want to sleep in a tent, the first night or sleep in a car, I don't know, because the joint practice I think is on the 18th and the game is on the 20th, I do believe, and I get there on the 19th. So yeah, that sucks because I wanted to watch both, but they didn't announce the joint practice until after my, as soon as they announced it, I was locked in because that's the closest trip for me. I don't have to fly, right? We could just hop in the car, drive a long time, 9 hours. Yes, that's how far, 9 hours. I'm going to get ready for work tomorrow. I'm got to get another 12 hours. Rebel, Unleashed, be safe. Appreciate you, my guy. Get some rest. Keep grinding. Can we trade Max for Verse? Bro, I don't know why they didn't do that. I would have been 100% down with that. You telling me you give me a 25-year-old with huge upside that's third in the NFL in pressures over the last 2 years at 25 years old? Bro, I'm taking Jared Verse all day. And he's got no knee injuries. I mean, come on. What are we talking about here? I should have made notes because now I rambled so much I forgot the hell I was going to talk about. I mean, I know what I'm going to talk about. I forgot most of the shit I had in my mind. What's Crosby's worth now? Oh, that's good. I believe he's still worth the first. And, it's probably going to have to be a high pick. But if he comes out and plays like Max Crosby, right? If you wrap that knee up, if he doesn't have to play 99% of the snaps, and you could get some guys to take, some of these reps away from him at least once a series, or at least, in the third and fourth quarter, and maybe, just maybe, the Raiders will be ahead in a couple games, and you can give them a couple snaps off, right? Get some of these young guys out there, see what the hell they got. But that's in a perfect world, and I don't ever see that happening. So I don't know, man. His trade value right now, it's not 2 first rounds. I could tell you that. It's not 2 first round picks, and it sure the hell wasn't a first and Jared Verse. Because Cleveland should have been calling for that, bro. If I'm Cleveland, I'm calling for that all day. I mean, I don't know. Knicks for sure. Lawrence has the Knicks. Okay, that's 2 for the Knicks. You think they could really stop Big Wemby, though? I mean, Big Wemby's, bro, he can go out and drop 40. He can go out and drop 40 twice. He can go out, pull 20, 30 rebounds. I mean, the sky's the limit for him. Who do they got? Let me know. Who do the Knicks got? That's gonna stop Wemby from just dominating, because he can just definitely turn this series where it makes it rough for the Knicks. But the Knicks got the shooting, right? They got the shooting. If they can, if they can keep the ball from going inside, which Wemby can play on the outside too. He can shoot out there. So I don't know, man. Wemby's a problem, dude. Wemby's a problem. I would like to see the Knicks win. Never been a Spurs fan. As being a Lakers fan, it's hard to be a Spurs fan when they had David Robinson and Tim Duncan, right? This hat is tripping, dude. This hat is killing me. I don't know what's going on here. That's much better. Yeah. All right, man. So max price. Okay. Max price has increased if Seattle wants to match power. Oh, I like this. Let me read the rest. Matt's Raider 7528 says max price has increased if Seattle wants to match power with the Rams. Since Rams have Garrett, Seattle be more desperate for Max, and that holds the trade. 3 first, 2 ones, and a player of your choice. Stop. Oh, no. Come on, man. 3 ones? Am I misreading that? 3 ones? 3 ones or 2 ones? 2 ones. I mean, that would be a team showing that they are absolutely just desperate. And I'd be like,
Oh, my Lord, really?
that's what I'd be like. Oh my Lord, really? I don't know. I don't think you can get two 2 for max. I don't know if they're that desperate, right? There's a lot of other defensive linemen. I mean, there was 10 on my list, right? There was 10 on my list that weren't Max Crosby, that I'm sure if you said I'll give you 3 first for that player, every single one would be out of the building. Even if you gave 2, right? Certain teams, I don't know, but I agree with you 1000%. Seattle's, their defense is pretty solid, but they don't have a Max Crosby, right? And they lost a couple pieces. I don't know. It doesn't look good for Seattle, man. Doesn't look good for Seattle. I don't know how they can recover bringing in. Didn't they bring in a college offensive coordinator? Is that right? I think somebody said that in the chat the other day. If they brought in a guy from college, I mean, we all know how that turns out, bringing in Chip Kelly, right? Bringing in I won't even mention that name. But yeah, y'all know. If you know, let me know. Bringing in what? What coach? What coach did we bring in from college? What coach? Brad in the building. What's good, my guy? What's good? Get the most of all. Thank you. All dream and no scheme. For what? Me? Who? What are we doing? What are we dreaming? Oh no. I don't dream no more. Hey, Mike. All right. First off is 5 players changing their future right now as we speak for the Las Vegas Raiders. And I want you to let me know who your 5 guys are that you feel right now as we speak in OTAs. And yes, it's just booty shorts and a helmet. I know we got to wait till the pads come on and the click clacking starts getting, happening. But until then, from what you're seeing right now, right? From what you're seeing, 5 players changing their future right now. Let me know in the comments. And then we're going to talk about which free agents could price themselves out of Las Vegas. That'll be topic number dos. Yeah, that one. Come on, man. Just copy the damn thing. Here we go. Technology working. Fernando wait, no. I don't want that one. This one. Oh, shit, wait. All right. Did it not save it? I don't know what the hell. Yeah, there we go. All right. Got it together. Took me a minute. Should have had that ready. 5 players changing their future right now. Let me know in the comments who y'all got, who y'all think it is. Max for 1. And settles safety from South Carolina. And Seattle safety from North Carolina. Who the hell is here? Dog sounds mad. Tonka Hemingway. Knock that off. It's the guard dog, Tonka Hemingway. But 5 players changing. Nobody wants to say. All right, I'm gonna go first. Right now, 5 players changing their future is Jack Bech, right? Jack Bech has been out there getting unexpected reps and showing what he can do. And no, it wasn't, out there in 7-on-7s just for 1 week. Jalen Naylor decided he was going to come back because I'm sure he's, watching Twitter and going, okay, Jack Bech is out there doing his thing. I need to go out there and do my thing, right? So Jalen Naylor is back off I do believe he had a baby or something. Not him, but his wife. So back in the building, Jalen Naylor. But I feel like changing their future. What the hell is wrong with that dog? Smack that dog. I'm just kidding. Is Jack Bech, right? Jack Bech. And then you have to look at this offensive line, right? You have to look at this offensive line in a guy like Trey Zoom. A lot of talk about Spencer Burford being that guy when the season starts, right? And I talked about Jesse Merrick pointing out the fact that he was at practice and he was looking at a man and going, man, I don't know the numbers yet, right, of who these guys are, but this guy looks very athletic. Now, I went back and looked at his RAS score, and his RAS score was a 6.7. 6.7. I don't think that's very athletic. Now, he is 25. Maybe he was, doing some ballet, right? Maybe he was doing some kind of workout. Raider Nation Jason in the building. What's good, my brother? It's been a minute. Hope all is well with baby girl and the fam. So yeah, he's been out there doing his thing, right? I forgot who I was even talking about. Oh, yeah, but so you got Spencer Burford, and a lot of people have been talking about him, being the starter. But then you got Trey Zoon, right, who is behind him, who is way more athletic. RAS score, 9.96, I do want to say. Off the charts, right? Way bigger, stronger. If you go back to Spencer Burford, I'm sure he's a lot stronger now, but he had, I want to say 22 reps at 225 pounds. Trey Zoon had 34 reps, I want to say, at 225 pounds. Maybe it was 33, somewhere 33 or 34. So that's that's a big man, 6'7", with long arm, or not as long arms as Burford, which he might have that going for him, right? He has longer arms, longer reach. But the strength is there for Zoon. So I believe Trey Zoon, saying he can play all 5 positions, right, hasn't really done it, but is projecting that, yeah, that's no problem. I feel confident enough in myself that if you put me at center, I can go out there and play that. If you put me at left or right guard, I got you. And probably your left or right tackle, right, just because he's got that alpha male in him and he seems like that kind of dude, right? So when you have that, I think Trey Zoon is that guy making a future for himself right now. And then a guy that nobody's talking about, and a guy that I've been saying since camp, I thought was going to make this roster. I thought last year was going to get a push up and stay up, right? He showed out in preseason with Cam Miller throwing him the ball. He had a touchdown, one of the only touchdowns in the game, with Kenny Pickett throwing him the damn football. That man is none other than the great nephew of the Bo Jackson, right? Cedric Jackson. I feel like right now he's changing his future, right? A man that was projected to maybe, be on the practice squad, right? Maybe get cut. I don't think he gets cut. I think he makes, if they keep 6 wide receivers, I think Cedric Jackson is one of them, right? He's going to get his opportunity. And when he's got his opportunity, even with a rookie quarterback in Cam Miller, a 6th or 7th round pick, 7th round pick, whatever he was, out there throwing him the ball. He was out there shining in the preseason. He was shining, when he got his chance in games. And Cedric Jackson is developing more and more and more. So that's my third guy that I think the future right now is changing for this man. If you look at this, receiving core, there's a lot of young guys. He's now becoming a veteran, right? I think had a little bit of time at Cincinnati, right? So he's had time at Cincinnati. What's going on? Right. So time at Cincinnati. Not really. You can't say too much, development with the Raiders, but he's still showing up in practice. He's still grinding. He's still putting time in the weight room. He has the speed. He has the size, and he's exactly what Seattle had and Klint Kubiak had last year when they went and got Shahid, or I always get that wrong. Raheed Shaheed, right? So Cedric Jackson could fill that role, right? He's bigger. He's, like I said, got the speed. The route running is coming along. And if you go back and watch the preseason, right, with Cam Miller throwing him the football last year, and a very, very, very poorly ran offense from Chip Kelly, they still had a lot of success. And that's going against, again, second, third, and probably 4th string defenses. But he still made plays. So I think Cedric, I'd rather have Cedric Jackson, Trey Tucker, or Cedric Jackson, then Trey Tucker or Jalen Naylor. Okay. I think he definitely gives you that, that deep threat on the outside. And he definitely has the size, right? A little bit bigger. Was he 6'2", 6'3", I want to say. So, another guy that's in the 4.3s when it comes to speed. And I think it's the perfect fit for Klint Kubiak, right? He's looking at this guy and he's probably salivating, going, "Oh my God, Cedric Jackson, he can actually catch the ball, right?" And we'll get to my losers here in a bit, but I think Cedric Jackson is one of those guys building a future for him right now. And then another guy, that's my winners and losers. So he's part of both. And I think Cedric Jackson is probably part of both, right? Of these topics. But the next guy is Cody Lindenberg. We talked a little bit about him last night. We talked about him, when he was drafted. I think this is a young man that's a middle linebacker type, kind of, like the other the Eichenberg, Tommy Eichenberg, Cody Lindenberg. Both those guys are, that prototypical, old school type linebacker, right? Now, do they have a physicality of like a Romanowski? No, but could they develop into that, right? It's possible. Anything's possible, right? So I like Cody Lindenberg, but I feel right now he's a winner, right? Because one of my losers, and we'll get to that, is Nakobe Dean. And just because he's not here, right? He's a veteran, but he's still not, a veteran where you can be like, man, I'm that guy. I know this is my job and it's locked in. And I think you might be overlooking some of these guys on the roster that are like, man, we're here, we're ready to work. So, I do believe it was because of a graduation that he missed and wasn't here. And again, it's not mandatory yet, but it's getting very close to mandatory. I think it's June 9th, I do want to say is mandatory. So for him not being here, Cody Lindenberg is getting a chance to show what he's worth on the field, right? A guy that didn't get any snaps on the field last year. He didn't take one defensive snap. Maybe the end of the season, I think he took a couple, but it wasn't over more than 5. I don't think that he was out there. He was out there on special teams consistently, right? He was a special team guy, helped in that way, but not much. None of our special teams really helped. So Cody Lindenberg is getting a huge opportunity from Nakobe Dean not being out there on the grass. He's taking those reps, right? So he's taking those number 1 reps, and he's also getting a chance to play next to Quay Walker, who, Quay Walker is a damn good guy who's going to put him in position and, help him. So it's great for a guy like Cody Lindenberg to be taking those snaps with the ones. Or with the ones, because if he's playing next to Quay Walker, he's out there running with the ones, right? So that's the middle linebacker right now because of Nakobe Dean's absence. And I believe mandatory is 9th through the 11th. Yeah. So I believe that's number 3. I say number 3. Yeah. And then the 4th guy, right, that's building his future right now. I'm not even going to leave him for last, right? No, I think it's Malik Benson, right? Malik Benson is out there showing that he can make plays. I seen a pass from Fernando that everybody was, oh my God, it's a Fernando pass, right? Oh, it was thrown behind him for one. Malik's like this, right? Looking at the ball. You don't ever want to be like this catching a football when you got dudes in front of you, linebackers, right, trying to get back to the play, or whoever you beat trying to get back to the play. That's a hospital ball. That's setting a guy up for failure. And I'm not criticizing him. So, I've seen all the people leave, whatever. I'm not criticizing him. Fernando Mendoza, he's young. But what I'm saying is Malik Benson is getting reps with the future. A lot of guys aren't getting reps with the future, right? He's out there playing with the 3s, which is all rookies. And these guys are getting valuable reps, valuable, getting to learn their tendencies, getting timing with your quarterback, getting to know how he throws the ball, how hard he throws the ball, right? If they time revolutions and all that, they're getting all that time with the future that our 1s and our 2s aren't getting right now. Now, I heard he might have been out there with the 2s today. I don't know. Don't want to say until I know for sure. But that's huge, right? That's huge for Malik Benson to be out there getting snaps with Fernando Mendoza that Jack Bech is not getting because he's running with the 2s, right? That Michael Mayer's not getting, that Brock Bowers aren't getting, right? That timing, the rhythm, the connection, knowing their speed, knowing their breaks, right? Knowing their breaks is most of it, right? Knowing their angles. If you know how many steps they take before they start their break or their cut, it helps the quarterback know how to lead the receiver, when to throw to the receiver, and you don't have plays like I seen today with Malik Benson reaching back like this with everything he had, trying to catch a football, and made a hell of a catch, might I add. So a guy that has the size, he runs like the wind, and he's getting valuable reps. So I think Malik Benson, drafted in the 6th round. Some people say, we might have got a sleeper. Some, we don't know. We don't know, right? He's got to develop. He's got to get those snaps. But I feel like he makes this roster. Fighting Irish was good, my brother. Appreciate you, right? So he's definitely changing his future right now as well. And wait, that's 5, right? I don't even know who I listed. Just making on top of my head, right? On top of my head. I knew who they were. I just don't know how many it was. And then the last guy is Aiden O'Connell, bro. It's Aiden O'Connell, right? Going out there throwing 3 touchdowns with Tom Brady in the building. You have the GOAT watching your performance. Did you fold under pressure? Did you make a mistake and throw an interception, right? Did you throw some incompletes? Probably. But no, what he did is he made Cedric Jackson look good. He made Carter Runyon look good, right? He made who was the other one? Tariq Young looked good. They both made, all 3 of them made Aiden O'Connell look good. And it opened some eyes. It's made people looking like, oh, there's a little connection right there, right? Nice 30-yard pass to Carter Runyon. I believe it was same to Cedric Jackson and Tariq Young getting in the mix. I think was in the red zone. So Aiden O'Connell right now is changing his future, right? Whether it's with the Las Vegas Raiders or if he's building up trade value, right? Because people are looking. They go back and they listen, right? They're watching and like, oh, okay, so Aiden O'Connell, we've seen him before. We've seen him in big games beat the Kansas City Chiefs, whether people want to say it or not. But he's 2-2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Should be 3-2, right? He's also beaten the Chiefs in our division and the Broncos in his rookie year. So a kid that has more wins in our division than all the quarterbacks in the building and all the quarterbacks combined that have been in the building since Derek Carr, right? So teams are going to look at that. And, there's a lot of people talking about what is Aiden O'Connell's trade value. I've heard a 5th round. I heard a 6th round. I heard somebody say a 6th and, a 6th round and a 6th round next year. I'm not taking that. If Spytek and them take and Kubiak or Brady or any of them take that, I think that's a fail. That's a fail, right? Kirk Cousins is not going to be here for more than a year. They're not going to pay that man his money. Even if he goes out and goes 10-7 this year, they're probably more than likely still going to hand the reins to Mendoza. And I don't think he's going to be like, okay, yeah, I'll make 20, 40, what is it, $40 million? Yeah, I'll sit here for $40 million on the bench. The Raiders aren't going for that. And then you have to go back, find a new quarterback, right, to learn the system again, to build chemistry with the receivers. Aiden O'Connell has more chemistry than both of those guys in the building with Brock Bowers, Trey Tucker, Jacoby Myers. Matter of fact, let's pull this up. I know y'all going to love this. Yay! I know y'all going to love this one. I'll show this video. Let me pull this up so I can see it. I was trying to get it out of everybody's eyes. But yeah, I got a video for you. I'm back with a brand new video for you. No, I was kidding. Let me find it. Where did it go? Did it go? Oh, yeah, it is. All right. So the Las Vegas Raiders, right? At the Las Vegas Raiders posted Seeing Red week 4. And this is what they posted. I love it. I love this. I love it. And if you don't love it, then leave it. Go. You know what to do. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord had split you. All right, so here it is. This is what the Las Vegas Raiders posted, and I love it. My boy getting a little props, getting a little recognition. Well, I want to go bigger than that. That's probably what she said. This one, hell no. This one, give it bigger, bigger. All right, that one. Yeah. Can I play it? Hold up. But this is the video they posted. Ashton Jeanty, Aiden O'Connell busting on the Chiefs. Crosby, right? And then they played this video. I gotta do something because it's not working. This video.
First and 10 for O'Connell, who is under center, and McCormick the tailback. It is play action. He's trying to settle. He's hit as he throws, taking a shot.
O'Connell hits as he throws, takes a shot. Deep. Trey Tucker. Oh my God!
Into the 10, dives to the pylon. Touchdown Raiders!
Right?
Trey Tucker on a 58-yard streak down the sideline.
A little credit.
First and 10 for O'Connell, who is under center, and McCormick the tailback. It is play action. He's trying to settle. He's hit as he throws, taking a shot. Down the far sideline. Open man at the 20 is Tucker. Into the 10, dives to the pylon, touchdown Raiders! Trey Tucker on a 58-yard streak down the sideline. First and 10 for O'Connell. First and 10 for O'Connell, who is under center, and McCormick the tailback. It is.
There we go. I didn't mean to play that many times, bro. I swear. But I love that sound, bro. I love that sound, right? Could y'all hear it? Could y'all hear the video? Because if you can't hear it, then it just, yeah. Look how many people disappear. Y'all know, you you can't help but watch them highlights and be like, damn, he is good. He is good. But yeah, shout out to the Raiders, man. Yep, Aiden trying to increase trade value. Yeah, whether, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not mad at that. I'm a Raiders fan, bro. Raiders, right? If the kid goes somewhere else, am I going to watch to see how he does if he gets a chance? Absolutely. I watch every one that's ever been traded. I still watch Josh Jacobs. I watch Derek Carr at the Saints, right? If the Raiders aren't playing, but I'm not missing a Raider game to watch them, but I'm going to check on them. I'm going to see what they're doing. And I wish him the best, right? He deserves a chance, if it's not with us, to go somewhere else. But the Raiders are stupid. Y'all hear me, Las Vegas? Y'all are dumb if you let him walk out of the building, man. What are you going to have to pay him? Come on. Way less than you'd have to pay any free agent you're going to bring in, right? If he wants to be here, which he does, come on. He don't want to go nowhere. He's a Raider. I'm a Raider, though. I think AOC is playing well enough to get traded for a 5th round pick. That's right now, though. What if he comes out? In a Kirk Cousins? What if he comes out in a Klint Kubiak system where he has protection, where he has a running game, where he's 6-1, should be 7-0 when the Raiders rush for 100 yards with Aiden O'Connell in the building? What if he comes out and has that kind of rushing game and, just murder it in a preseason? Bink, 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 right? Were you here yesterday? You seen the stats I showed up? Elite numbers past 20 yards to the left side. Elite numbers in between 10 and 20 yards. Not elite, but up there. He only had 3 things, and that's the middle of the field where Aiden O'Connell is bad at. If Klint Kubiak could fix that, come on, man. That dude could come out and light it up, and then there's going to be people banging on the door because they're like, oh, we need a quarterback. That's a backup right there. Aiden O'Connell finally is showing his worth, right? He's a young quarterback that played in 10 games. And then what happened? He sat for 6. Then he got in 1, got hurt, sat for another 2, finally came back, was like, okay, I'm ready to play. Damn. Sure enough, he got hurt again, I think. But, right? And then sat, got to play. I mean, how many quarterbacks are good when you play sporadically like that, right? And he's held his own. So the trade value is definitely going up, or his stock in the Raiders are going up. Either way you want to slice it. So that's my 5 players I think that are bringing – where'd that shit go? Yeah, that's my 5 players that are changing their future right now as we speak. It's Jack Besh, right? It's Trey Zune. It's Cedric Jackson. It's Aiden O'Connell. And it's – who the hell else did I say? I don't know. I had another one. Somebody let me know in the comments. Was anybody listening? Show me you was listening. Who was the last? Delete. All right. Oh my God, what's up with that dog today? tripping, bro. All right, and then next up is winners and losers, right? Winners and losers for OTA. We already talked about Cody Lindenberg and how he's getting a huge opportunity, not getting on the grass last year, not being able to show whatsoever, right? Now I think he's going to get a lot of play time in the preseason because Nakobe Dean's going to be behind, right? He's going to be way behind. Yes, he's a veteran, probably won't be long to pick it up, but we don't know, right? We don't know how big the playbook is going to be, how detailed the playbook is going to be, right? How many disguises, how many motions and switches and Tonka guys switching and movement, right? We don't know how much movement is going to be on this defense. So we have no idea, how ready Nakobe Dean is going to be. And that's huge for Cody Lindenberg. And it's definitely huge for the work that he's been putting in and grinding, out there. So definitely a winner. Also, winning, we talked about that. I said Cedric Jackson was probably going to be, on both of them. But I think the other winner right now is Trayden Stukes, right? Trayden Stukes is getting to show, what he could play at the nickel. One of the losers and winners I had was Teron Johnson, right? As a loser, because he hasn't been there. He's losing valuable time of learning his defense, learning the players around you, gaining trust, right? Gaining that trust so players know that they're not looking over their shoulder going, oh, man, does he have his guy, right? Is he going to make this play, right? They can focus on their 111, do their job, and it makes it easier for everybody else. So Teron Johnson has been a loser, but he's a winner today. He showed up, right? So he's there before mandatory with no guaranteed money. So shout out Teron Johnson, right? Showing, hey, look, I want to be here. I want to be part of this team. And, maybe he can go out there and show that he's definitely worth giving that guaranteed money to, because nobody wants to play for no guaranteed money, especially when you're a veteran, right? And you got, a reputation like him, but you also got a reputation of not being able to stay healthy, and availability is the best ability. We've talked about, plenty of times. So Teron gets both of those winners and losers. We talked, huge for definitely huge for Cody Lindenberg, but losers right now. My loser right now is Jordan Meredith, and it's not because of Jordan Meredith or his playtime. I think he's losing because they have him as the backup center, which means Jordan Meredith right now, from what I'm hearing, is the number 2 center that Aiden O'Connell has been playing with, and then number 3 center, I don't know, but I think it's Will Putnam, right? That's what I've heard. Those are the 3 centers. So that tells me that Jordan Meredith is being overlooked at the guard position. And I don't feel like that is fair. I feel like they're going back on the tape last year. And, I wouldn't be surprised if don't be surprised if these coaches don't know that the dude, played guard 2 years ago. They might not know. He might not know, right? He's got his own coach, his own team, what he was worried about. He might not know, what was going on in the Raiders 3 years ago, right? When Meredith was playing the guard spot, might not even had time to, go back and watch tape for those games and notice, hey, wait, who's this dude right here, 61? He's playing pretty damn good, right? I mean, he was playing Pro Bowl caliber, was the 5th best graded right guard on offense, on run and pass, right? So good in pass pro, good in run. And I feel like he's being overlooked, and they're putting him at the center position because that's where he played. So I wish somebody in the building would step up and say, hey, if you didn't know, I'm just giving you a heads up, coach. This guy could play guard, right? So you might want to just give him a couple reps, see what he's got over there. So, yeah, I think Meredith right now is a loser. And then my second loser is Dante Thornton. Dante Thornton with Jack Best showing, shining, Jalen Naylor being back. Trey Tucker, all the talk about Trey Tucker. We already know about Brock Bauer, right? And then you bring in, you bring in Malik Benson, who's out there getting those valuable reps, like I said, with the future, knowing Mendoza, right? And if he's a guy that's out there winning, in 7-on-7 making plays with Mendoza, don't be surprised if he doesn't make the roster and he's one of those 6 receivers, probably the 6th. But that leaves Dante Thornton Jr., more than likely released. I don't think they put him on the practice. They might put him on a practice squad and just see, if he sticks. But more than likely, somebody's going to see the same thing they did or Pete Carroll did when they drafted him, see the size, right? See all that and be like, man, let's take a chance on this guy. Let's get him in here and try to develop him. But once the season starts, it's hard to develop players, right? You have to do it in the offseason. So this is huge for Dante Thornton Jr. to show that he can be that guy, that he's not dropping balls, right? That he can run 5 yards without turning his head around and looking for the ball. You got to run your route. You got to be able to sell it. You got to be able to get these, receivers to backpedal, to get their hips turned one way or another. And he hasn't been able to show he can do that. And if Malik Benson could be that guy, that leaves Dante Thornton to me as one of the losers. So he's not a loser yet, but and none of them are losers. I'm just saying, I should have said it. I don't know why I'm calling it winners and losers. But yeah, I had my own saying. I forgot what it was. I even did a whole show about it. And then which Raiders is the next topic. So those are the 5 players. Next topic is which Raiders could price themselves out of Las Vegas. And what I mean by price themselves out of Las Vegas is a guy that we just talked about, Aiden O'Connell, right? Which his stock seems to be going up. And it just me being a betting man, I would not be surprised if his stock continues to rise if he goes out there and lights it up in the preseason. I mean, his rookie year in the preseason, the kid destroyed the 49ers and the Rams. Wow, we played both of those teams this year. Just saying. Also has wins, like I said, over Kansas City and the Chiefs. Kansas City, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos. So just something to watch, man. Just something to watch. But guys that can price themselves out of Las Vegas by, performing better than expected. And those guys would be guys like Michael Mayer, right? Who's on his last year, of his rookie deal. That guy would also be Trey Tucker, right? Who is probably my number one candidate. Let me know who your number one candidate is that you think is going to have a year that could price themselves out, right? Whether the free agents that were free agents that were signed for just a 1-year deal or whatever. But let me know. So you got, Aiden O'Connell, you got Trey Tucker, you got Jack Besh. Who else is on that list? Probably should have had that pulled up. Right? Raiders free agents 2027. Yeah, that's what I thought, right? Just making sure. So Jafari Harvey, Malcolm Kuntz, Jeremy Chin, Isaiah Palamau, right? Tristan McCollum, Aiden O'Connell, Michael Mayer, Albert Okawagbano. Okay, you know what it means. Okay. Wide receiver Trey Tucker, Philip Dorsett, if he even makes this roster, Spencer Burford, who a lot of talk about this man, and I changed that subject, but we'll get back to it in a minute, right? A lot about this man playing because of his athleticism and the way he's moving out there. But unless he, over last year and the year before became this athletic monster from doing ballet, I just don't see it. His athletic scores were awful his rookie year, and Trey Zooms were absolutely amazing. That tells me you need athleticism. You need guys to pull, to get out in space. Look to Trey Zoom to be that guy, or Jordan Meredith if they give him a chance, or Caleb Rogers, right? If they have JPJ playing that right side, you can put Caleb Rogers over there, give him some reps. I mean, he played tackle. He transitioned just fine to guard last year. Yes, he had his bumps and bruises, gave up some pressures and some sacks. 3 sacks, 10 or 11 pressures, right? But he played in 6 games as a rookie who, wasn't that guy, never expected being that guy throughout the year, wasn't getting, reps with the ones. So transitioned pretty well. I don't think it'd be a hard transition with a great offensive line coach and Rick Dennison and a coach like Kubiak to put him on the left side and see what he can do, right? There seems to be a lot of musical chairs the last couple of days at camp, guys playing out of position. They just want to see what they have in these guys. And to me, Spencer Burford, Jordan Meredith are those guys. Thomas Booker is also a free agent. Sagan Alobi and Matt Gay. So out of all those dudes, right, let me know. Who do you think prices, plays, however you want to say it? Yeah, we can hear it. Awesome. Nice. Sweet. Vikings. Pickett just guaranteed $4 million from the Panthers. That's good for the Panthers. That's good for the Panthers. Bryce Young, everybody needs a veteran in the building. They brought him in as a rookie, first overall pick, right? The size, limitations, he's going to have to, adapt to that, which he has well, but having a veteran in the building, helps. They had Big Red there for a little bit, right? But they got rid of him. So that'll help. That'll help. If he has to play, it probably won't help him much, but it should help. So out of those guys, who do you think plays themselves out of a job? I was talking about a 5th round pick in the Canadian football fucking mother. I got to start reading these quietly before I read them out loud. Oh, that's messed up, bro. It's messed up. McCoy is going to show out. Let's talk about that for a second, then I'll get back to my topic. To my eyes stop watering, bro. Dumbass. I heard that McCoy hasn't been in practice the last couple days, and there might be a tissue or an issue, right? Might be an issue with the old tissue. No, but I don't know. Seriously, though, I heard a rumor of, people talking and chatting, and somebody said that they heard that he might have maybe had a snag and a re-injury when he was out there in practice backpedaling. I don't know how much of that is true, so don't quote me on that. You did not hear it first at Raiders Unleashed. But if he's not out there, if he wasn't out there today, I know they're taking him, taking it slowly, letting him play a little bit, then not play, right? Giving him ample rest. Shout out to the 14 people in the building. But if he's healthy, man, if he's healthy and he's a go, it's absolutely lights out. Yeah, Malik Benson. See, that's what I'm talking about, my brother. Somebody was listening. Appreciate you, Sacktown Mike. At least somebody pays attention to me. Hello, Raider Nation for life. What's good, Cooley? Cooley in the gang? What's good, man? What's good? Putting him sucks even for a backup. I don't know, bro. At Cincinnati, he was one of the best. He was one of the best centers in all of football. Never missed a game. Had, all kinds of honors and all that. But he came to a team that has no development, no offensive line, no structure, no continuity, no consistency, right? Guys are moving positions every 6 games, every 7 games. Somebody's getting fired. Right? Connor Hayward. What about Connor Hayward? He might make a name for himself, too. Shout out for the $2 smacker Rizzle. Appreciate you, my nizzle. Dylan Holmes, my Bears got real lucky against your Raiders. Yes, they did. And I'm glad you brought that up. And you're hearing it from a Bears fan, not just me, who keeps trying to tell everybody that this team was not as bad as it looked last year. The personnel was there. Yes, we were lacked on a little bit of depth. And everybody was like, everybody can improve on depth and get better on depth. So we lacked a little bit, but man, we were in some damn good games. And even the Bears fans said, y'all got lucky, right? The defense was tired, couldn't get a stop at the end. Caleb Williams is just spectacular when the game is on the line most of the time. And yeah, y'all definitely got lucky. Did someone say fullback? Connor Hayward? I hope somebody said fullback because I love me some fullback, right? I played running back in high school and junior high, and there was nothing better than when they put the big man in front of me, because that big man in front of me was my best friend. That, if I wasn't staying the night at his house, he was staying the night at my house. I knew he had me, and I had him no matter what. We knew each other like the back of our hands. So we didn't always have a fullback on every play, but when he was out there, man, it made my job so much easier to pick and choose where I wanted to go. Having a fullback just makes a big, big difference, right? You got that guy, especially for Ashton Jeanty last year, it would have made a good Lord, it would have been night and day difference not getting hit in the backfield. Because most of the time it was one, sometimes it was two guys, but a lot of times it was one guy that was squeezed through that A gap, right? And just be right there by the time they were handing the ball off. And if you have a fullback like a Connor Hayward, right, he could put that head down, cause a little friction. So yeah, it's gonna be different, man. It's gonna be different. The Bears had other games we should have lost besides the Raiders. But that shows, that shows resilience, and that shows a good team and turnaround. Right? That shows you're resilient. If you have a team that, like the Broncos, that there was a lot of games that they should have lost, but somehow they found a way in the fourth quarter. That just tells me how good of a team you are and how, tight-knit group, right? Nobody gets their heads down. Everybody has confidence and believes that, we're just one play away or two plays away from turning this thing around. And when you have that mentality, that character, that alpha mentality in the building, then that's when you start, winning on a consistent basis year in and year out, like these teams do. They bring in the right guys, the right pieces, the right character, the right coaches, and then you scream, just win, baby, right? And I think we're doing that, man. I think we're finally doing that. And the Bears are doing that as well. They're, they lost some of those games. They, like you said, they won some games that they probably should have lost. And they, they probably won some games that won some that they should have lost and lost some that they should have won. But when oh my God, Troy, Vikings will go 17-0 with Kyler Murray. Oh, good Lord. I thought I was crazy with Aiden O'Connell, right? I was just hoping that the kid would get some playtime, but damn, 17-0 with Kyler Murray. That's crazy, bro. And all I got to say to that is,
oh, my Lord, really?
That's all I got to say, bro. Oh, my Lord, really? Can y'all hear that dude screaming? Is it too loud? Do I need to turn it down? Because I can only hear it through my headphones that are over there. So let me know. Is that blasting in your ear when I play that? Because if it is, then, that's the effect I was looking. No, I'm just kidding. But, all right. Finally got to the bottom of the chat. Hour and 16 minutes later, I got most of my talk in. But, again, Malcolm Kuntz, Jafari Hari, Jeremy Chin, Isaiah Palomao, Christian McCollum, Aiden O'Connell, Michael Mayer, Albert O.C., Trey Tucker, Philip Dorsett, Spencer Burford, Jordan Meredith, Thomas Booker, Solgan Alobi, and Matt Gay. Those are our free agents. And if you understood what I said, then cool. Let me know which of those do you think could – wait, where'd my shit go? Yes, it's loud as hell. Nice. That's sweet. That's as long as y'all don't get pissed off and dip. That's the effect I was looking for, though. Wait, where'd my thingy go? My thingy though. Yeah, there we go. Which Raider free agents could price themselves out of Las Vegas, right? I believe Jeremy Chin. If Jeremy Chin balls out and has half of the year he had last year, I believe Jeremy Chin is going to be a little bit more money than we could be willing to pay, right? Not that we can afford, but a little bit more than I think we're willing to pay because we brought in guys like Dalton Johnson, because we got guys like Trey Stooks, right? We don't know what's going on with Teron Johnson, but he's obviously not on this list because I think he had 2 years left on his contract. So he's going to have to play it out. But when you're looking at some of these guys, right? Malcolm Kuntz, man. 12 million last year. Oh, that hurts. I'd be mad if I was the owner. Bro, I don't know how they brought him back, but they believe in Malcolm Kuntz, obviously, or maybe Max Crosby believes in Malcolm Kuntz, and that's part of the main reason why he's back. I don't know, but I believe in Malcolm Kuntz. I feel like he's just, that close from having that 8 sacks in 9 games or whatever he had 2 years ago. Being hurt didn't help. He showed a little bit of flashes towards the end of the season. And hopefully in this system, in a 3-4, him playing that outside linebacker role, having his hand in the dirt, being outside on that wide 9, hopefully that's going to help Malcolm Kuntz. And, 12 million last year, 11 million this year. I feel like even if he's a guy, I don't think he's a guy that's going to outplay, but man, if he does outplay, right, if he does outplay what, the price in Vegas, that's, to me, that's a 10 sack season. You'd have to have 10 sacks. And if he has that, yeah, I don't see the Raiders bringing him back, right? You got Jafari Harvey, who's also going to be a free agent, but you went and got Karan Crawford, right? Karan Crawford as well. Get back to the chat so I don't get too far behind. I don't know where the last one. The Vikings fan. I don't know, but it was some good, it was some good shit though. People say Raiders fans are delusional. I thought they only said that about me. They say that about all of us. Oh, well, I feel much better then. I feel much, much better. Shout out to the $5 Smacker Rizzle. Appreciate you, my nizzle. Crystal Ball was good. Loud as hell, but yeah. All right, man. Let me change that. Let me. I think I have to change it on here. Plug your ears. Everybody plug their ears for a minute. Lower their volume. I gotta change that. Gotta play it one more time.
Oh, my Lord, really?
How about that? Is that better? Let me know. Let me know in the comments.
My Lord, really?
Can you still hear it, but it's not too loud? Because my boy lost his mind. Lost his marbles, bro. Loud as hell. But yeah, shout out for the $5 holla. I think I said 4. Appreciate y'all for not dipping with my loud ass thing. There's more to come. I've been working on some. I just got to get them all figured out what they're for. Piano Man says this year. Piano Man, what? Where's he at? He's alive? Piano Man's alive? I unblocked you, Piano Man. So if you ever want to come back in the chat, bro, like you've been unblocked for a long time. You just gave up. I don't know. But Piano Man says this year will be different for the discharges. Laughing my ass off. That's funny. What do you follow him on? You follow him on Instagram or something? I think I blocked him on all that. But damn, I ain't heard that name in a minute. Piano Man. Faded Raiders said I ain't heard that name in a minute too, right? Frank Weber Piano. That's, man, where's he been, bro? We didn't see him at all last year, right? And they had a good year. I thought he'd be going crazy. Bolt's never gonna get a ring. Bolts without nuts. That's classic, bro. Shout out to you. That's an instant classic. Bolts without nuts. I love it. I love it. Bolts without nuts. I'm gonna have to remember that. It might be a t-shirt. You'll get credit for it, but that's probably all you're gonna get. Bolts without nuts. Yeah, we might have to make that a t-shirt. I don't know if I could wear anything with the Chargers on it, but sounds funny though. It would be a nice banner to take to the Chargers games. Damn, I thought that dude disappeared. Candy, right? Thought he disappeared too. All right, so let's get back to this, man. Hour and 22 minutes. I gotta eat sometime today. Malcolm Kuntz, right? I don't see him playing, pricing himself out of Las Vegas with his play. But if he does, I think it would have to be 10 or 12 sacks. If he plays like he played last year, I don't see him being back. If he has 10 or 12 sacks, he might come back on a friendly deal just because the Raiders have taken care of him the last 2 years. So if you hear me, Malcolm Kuntz, and you have a breakout year, bro, come on, man. We taking care of you. Take care of us. Jafari Harvey, I don't even know if he gets on the grass this year. I hope he does, right? I have a lot of expectations for this young man. I was hoping the Raiders brought him in, in the draft. They didn't. They brought him in UDFA. So I hope the dude gets a chance to show what he can do in the preseason and, maybe get called up if there's some injuries from guys that can't stay healthy, because Aiden O'Connell's so injury prone, but not our leader who misses every single year, at least 2 or 3 games, right? So hopefully he can stay healthy. Jeremy Chin, I believe, can price himself out of Las Vegas. This is my number one guy. What do you want, Kidder? I think Jeremy Chin can have a big year in this system. He's a guy that, has talked about Rob Leonard, also believes in Rob Leonard. All these guys that were here last year definitely believe in what Rob Leonard is trying to do in the building with his defense. Some guys like Ezekiel Trazevant are, super excited about this defense and where they can go, having them ranked in the top 15 already without pads. I love that. My guy, Hi Today, shout out for the $5 holler. How's your day going, Rebel? I hope it's going well, my guy. It's going super well, my guy. Appreciate it. It's going well because you're here, because everybody's here. And I'm going to say everybody's name. Faded Raider, Candy Angel, Cristobal, Frank Weber, all y'all, Troy. My guy, Alec. What's up, Alec? I didn't see you in here. Shout out to my guy, Alec, in the building. But yeah, man, it's going well. It's going well. Appreciate you showing love to the channel. Means the world to have y'all support, right? But yeah, Jeremy Chin, I think, is that guy. So that's one that could definitely play himself out of being a Raider next year. And then we listed the reasons why is the guys behind him, right? The guys they drafted and brought in. We'll see how that goes. Next up is Isaiah Palamau. I don't see Isaiah Palamau playing him out. So I'm not going to go through all these guys. I'm just going to pick mine. I believe Aiden O'Connell. If Aiden O'Connell shows out in preseason and for some freaky accident, right? Because according to everybody, it would have to be some outrageous thing that happened to the whole entire roster for Aiden O'Connell to play. And if that possibly happens and he gets the chance to, come in there and win some games against the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Seattle, the Rams, the Bills, any of these teams we play that are top teams, his stock goes up, and they will definitely be trying to, trade him and get some value out of him before the season is over. But first, you got to get in the game. So I believe Aiden O'Connell, has a chance. Not going to, but he's got to be able to get in the game. And if he plays this year, he's definitely playing himself out of a contract the Raiders won't be able to afford. Michael Mayer is definitely a guy that I believe too, right? Klint Kubiak is a guy that's going to use a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of 13 personnel, a lot of 22 personnel, right? We might even see, 23, 30, 32. We might have 3 tight ends, 2 running backs back there and just run with that in goal line situations. We never know what we're going to do in a Kubiak system. So yeah, that's never know what Aiden O'Connell, Michael Mayer. Like I said, I think Michael Mayer, if he gets opportunities, right? If Brock Bowers, knock on wood, pray to Lord, please no, has problems like he had the last 2 years, not being able to be 100% and give 100%, but still be out there. I think a lot of those reps could go to Big Mike Mayer, right? And if Mike Mayer gets opportunities, I believe he plays himself out of a contract in Vegas, because people are going to see this young man and go, damn, like we can make him probably a number 1 because he can catch, he can make plays, he has strong hands, he wins contested routes, he can block, he can lead block, he can do a lot that a lot of tight ends on other teams can't do, or number 1s can't do, right? So he's going to bring value, but for him to bring value is he's going to have to get opportunities this year. So if he gets opportunities in a Klint Kubiak system, I believe Michael Mayer. I'm going to write these down this time. Right? AOC, Michael Mayer. That probably helped me a little bit better. And then the next one is Spencer Burford, right? If he gets the start somehow and he makes it through the season, I just think there's too much depth and young guys behind him. Plus, we're going to have a draft. Plus, we have UDFAs, right? And if somehow Spencer Burford makes it, through the season and plays well, his numbers are going to go up, right? His stock is going to go up. And it could be that case, right? Maybe the leadership that we have in the building, maybe the, Rick Dennison being the O-line coach, can teach these guys and make Spencer Burford that dude. So that's a big if he ends up being the starter and, does well, he could end up being one of those guys that plays him out of a contract. And then I would say Jordan Meredith, but I just don't think he's going to get those reps. And then the last but not least of guys that can play themselves out of a contract is none other than Trey Tucker, man, right? It's Trey Tucker. Can he have a JSN year? I don't think so. Can he have a better year with less targets? Yes, because he's going to be put at different angles. He's going to be put, in different situations. He's not always going to be that one or two guy. I think Jalen Naylor becomes that one receiver, and he's battling for, that number 2 spot with Jack Besh, depending on what team we're playing, what they're running, what they like to do. If you need a stronger, more physical guy, it's going to be Besh. If you need, a speedster because you have an advantage with the speed on the outside, it's going to be Trey Tucker, right? So it depends on, how they use him and, how he finishes, right? Because you got to be able to finish. Not a lot of drops, but there's balls that could have been counted as drops, right? I mean, it's close to your body, but and then there was a couple of those drops as well. So a lot of targets, not a lot of catches, bad quarterback play. But Trey Tucker with his speed and just the guys we have in the building, right? Having the hell is that? Having Ashton Jeanty, right? Having Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer and Naylor and Malik Benson, if he comes along, Cedric Jackson, right? I believe those are going to be our starters. Jack Besh, I think those are our guys. If those guys, come along, man, definitely Trey Tucker has a chance to play himself out of Las Vegas. And I've heard a lot of talk saying that Trey Tucker, there's no way that he's a Raider next year. But I'm going to pump the brakes on that, right? And I'm one of those guys that's criticized Trey Tucker more than anybody, just because he learned from Devontae Adams. He learned from Jacoby Myers. He learned from Hunter Flippin Renfro, right? He's learned from three of the top, okay, maybe not Jacoby Myers, but he's up there, but 3 of the top receivers in their day, right, in their time. And I just expect more from Trey Tucker, right? He's fast as hell. We know he's got, doesn't have long arms, doesn't have big hands, but he's strong. He's physical. He does all the hard hat stuff. For as small as he is, he blocks like a damn offensive lineman. And I just want Trey Tucker to break out. So I feel like the people are saying that Trey Tucker, there's no way that the Raiders sign him to a new year because he might get $10 million or $12 million, right? I heard, I believe it was the GOAT 209 on X said there's no way Trey Tucker comes back. A couple other people have said, there's no way that he earns a roster spot. And the way that Kubiak and Spytek talk about Trey Tucker, the fact that he's taken that leadership role, right? And, if he continues to do that, just because he's not going to be a number 1 receiver, he's not going to get number 1 receiver money, right? He's not getting $25-30 million a year, even if he has a damn good year, right? He might get, 12, 15. And I think that's number 2 money. There's not a lot of number 1s making $12 million, right? Or $10 million. So if you're telling me Trey Tucker drafted a Raider, loves this organization, loves the people around him, right? Finally getting a chance that, in his 3rd year going into it, or his 4th year going into his contract year, finally gets a chance to adapt and take a leadership role. And I believe Trey Tucker could do it. I believe he can do it, right? He has the intelligence. He has the skill set, the mindset. He's just got to get, the fact of diving for balls and catching balls with your body once, and hopefully they can break some of those habits and get, seems like he's already got a little bit more confidence. And I'm not saying he can't catch the ball out in front of him. He just needs to do it more. So I feel like even if the Raiders go out and draft a number 1 wide receiver next year, or they go out and get a guy in free agency, that doesn't mean that Trey Tucker is not valuable in this offense. That means he's more valuable as a number 2. Even if you have Jack Besh and Jack Besh is that number 2, right? You can put these guys in bunch packages, right? You can put these guys in 2x2 sets, 3x1 sets, right? And when you have speed and physicality, it makes it hard for defenses, to adapt to, like, man, who do we put on this guy? Who do we put on this guy, right? And it makes them have to make choices fast. And so for that, I believe Trey Tucker has every opportunity, to get another contract, to get a second contract. We hear about Spytek wanting to keep guys in the building, right? Valuable guys. Show them that, they mean. Let them develop. Let them be those guys. And I think Trey Tucker, even at 5'8", he plays way bigger than his size. And I feel like Trey Tucker is definitely a guy that they want to keep around in the building. If he has a big year and somebody comes calling and they trade him, do you trade him at the deadline, right? If he has a big year, that means we're probably doing pretty well and winning a couple games. So do you try to trade him at the deadline if people come calling for a Trey Tucker? Because he's a free agent. And if you don't sign him to another contract, and if you don't trade him before the trade deadline, that's another player that we drafted, we developed, we poured time into, we poured money into, we poured, knowledge into, and then we're going to let him walk. To me, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You pay the guys and you keep the guys in the building that are valuable in the building. And I believe Trey Tucker brings value. So I think he has a chance to win another roster, to win another contract next year. Burford has his work cut out for him. I believe so. I think once, right now it's OTAs, right? And right now they're running first, seconds, and thirds. I don't believe they continue to run first, seconds, and thirds. That's a lot of guys that should be paying attention to our ones, our twos, having to pay attention to ones, twos, and threes, right? So you got certain groups with certain guys, and then everybody's got to come and talk on which guys, they think should be moving up to the next group, or however that works. But I think once you get into June 9th and mandatory camp, I think they drop that down to probably ones and twos, and then they'll be circulating Mendoza with AOC on the twos, or possibly circulating Kirk Cousins and AOC with the ones, and just having Mendoza run mainly with the twos. So I feel like once mandatory comes, that'll be the scenario, and you won't have threes. So you'll get a lot more chance. From what I'm saying is you get a lot more opportunity to switch guys up, right? Let Charles Grant get some snaps on the right side, right? Let him get some snaps on the left side with the ones, with Colton Miller not being out there, just in case Colton Miller is not available to be out there, right? That's valuable snaps and reps with the group you're going to be playing with if something happens to these guys, right? Get Trey Zune out there playing with the right side instead of JPJ running with the ones. So I know this coaching staff is a lot smarter than me, and if I could think of these things, I know they are. So look for a lot of guys to be moving around and playing different positions. So, it's a rebuild. In a rebuild, you have to find out what sticks and which guys are going to be here. And the only way to do that is to put guys in sticky situations, right? During the preseason, you might come out there and, run a couple plays, and then all of a sudden the coach might be like, yo, get Jackson Powers out of there, right? Caleb Rogers, get in there and run with the ones, right? That's valuable experience that you can't get, in OTAs. That's valuable experience you can't get in the preseason. Valuable experience that you can only get right in the preseason games, because you're not going to do that in games, right? So preseason is going to be huge for a lot of these guys, and those are the guys I feel that could outplay, their roster spot. OTAs are glorified game of tin soldier. That's like saying having Kirk Cousins in the building is not good for Mendoza, and it's a waste of time, which I heard some people say if he starts, right? Sports fan, Jazz fan, what's good, my guy? Right. So Arnie Garza in the building. What's good, my brother? Good to see you. Vikings choked in the playoffs with the Super Bowl. That's where we're going. But yeah, saying OTAs is like, a glorified tin soldier. OTAs, minicamp sets guys up for OTAs. OTAs get guys, in more shape, more prepared, a little bit of, kind of the system we're going to be running, the main system we're going to be running. And that helps guys leading into camp, right? And then in camp, you get ready for the camp in preseason, and you get ready for the season. So I don't know what you mean by glorified tin soldiers, but I think it's very important, right? This is a time for guys to get a feel of the guys next to them, to get timing with guys, to get continuity and chemistry, figure out what guys fit best with guys, even if it's not, with pads on yet. But now it's pads, or now it's just helmet. But soon it'll be, right, pads, and then, yeah, it'll be time to figure out, separate the men from the boys. Summer heats up. So does summer camp. Soon enough. Greg Lura in the building. What's good, my brother? Yes, it does. My guy Arnie Garza says, what player or coach on the team has the biggest pressure to succeed? Ooh, that's a good question, Arnie G. All right, I'm gonna plug this. I'm gonna think about this for a second. So, what coach has the most to prove? Oh, good Lord. Arnie Garza always putting pressure on me, bro. Always putting pressure on me. I love it. I love pressure moments. So, I mean, it's got to be Kubiak, right? It's got to be Kubiak. First-time head coach. You got to worry about, game planning, calling plays, and doing all the other stuff a coach does on the sideline, right? You got to worry about clock management. You got to worry about when to go for it, on fourth down or third down, whether you run or you pass. So many things come with being a head coach in the NFL. So number one is Kubiak. The biggest pressure is on him, right? Yes, his father was great. Yes, his father has 3 Super Bowls, 2 as an assistant, 1 as a head coach, right? Kubiak has 1 as an assistant, 1 as a head coach. So he's, following in his father's footsteps very well. But the pressure's still on, right? We don't know if he can run a team. And it seems like, from what I'm hearing in the building, from the little birdie in my ear, is he knows exactly what he's doing. He's acting like he's been a head coach for a long, long time. These guys are already picking up what he's putting down. They're ready to run through brick walls for the man. So, but the pressure's still on, right? If you come out and only win 4 games this year with Kirk Cousins and you don't put in Mendoza or Aiden, that's going to leave questions for me, right? That's going to leave huge questions about our head coach. Questions that we had last year with the same coach, Pete Carroll, bringing in Geno and not taking him out because that was his boy. Are we going to have that? Is Klint Kubiak that type of guy? Is he just going to, keep believing, all right, let's see what he's got this game. Let's try to help him, put him in better positions to see what he has this game. Does that continue? We don't know, right? We don't know how he can handle all this. We don't know how guys are going to play for him. We don't know what the chemistry is going to be like on the sideline. So big pressure for the head coach, but even bigger pressure for Andrew Janocko, right? You're not calling plays, but you're the offensive coordinator, and the offense coordinator's job is to get people prepared to know the offense, right? To know the plays. So now he becomes a teacher, which I do believe he's very good at, right? So big pressure on him. And then, I think even bigger than the head coach, which I don't know how you can have more pressure than the head coach, but it's Rick Dennison. Rick Dennison is a guy that's in the Pete Carroll age range, right? Somewhere in there. So you're in the Pete Carroll, age range. You have a whole lot of experience, but also, you're up there. And can you articulate and can you articulate enough to these young guys, which I feel he can? Just look at Gray Zabel and, what Gray Zabel did over there, but he wasn't the offensive line coach over there last year. They had an offensive line coach. He was just a guy, the head assistant that helped everybody out. So it's been a minute since Rick Dennison has been the O-line coach, right? I think he has the most pressure. I think our worst unit on the roster was the offensive line, not the players, the way they were coached, the scheme that, nobody knew what the scheme was that they were running, the question marks that they had of what they were trying to accomplish in the run block schemes that, they were being taught. There was a lot of things last year. So I think Rick Dennison has the most pressure as a head coach. As the O-line coach, just because it's been a minute, right? And it's not like riding a bike. You still have to verbally articulate the words that you in a correct manner where these guys can understand, right? You can't be talking like Pete Carroll was trying to talk to these guys and they're going, come on, man. It's like getting lectured from grandpa, right? And no disrespect for the age. I'm just saying he's been around a minute. So I'm gonna go with Rick Dennison and Kubiak, Janoko, and I don't know, all of them, bro, because you could say the same thing. You could say the same thing about Robbie Leonard. I mean, Robbie Leonard, first-time head coach, has the experience, but how long is it going to take for him to get through to these guys what he's trying to do, what the concept is, why the concept is what it is, right? What we're trying to accomplish on defense, why they're trying to accomplish it, and what will be the end result if they do what he says, right? That's a lot. That's a lot. So I think all the coaches, man, all the coaches is the new coaching staff, but those four mainly. And I think Rick Dennison and Rob Leonard are the biggest ones. To me, Klint Kubiak seems like he's done this before, like it's not a big deal. And then player, I'm gonna go with, I gotta go with the veteran. I gotta go with Kirk Cousins. I think he has the most pressure to perform on this roster. Everything runs through the quarterback. The offense runs through the quarterback. If your offensive line is protected and your quarterback can't get the ball out on time, can't get the ball out on rhythm, right? Can't lead receivers, is throwing the ball too late or too early in the routes, right? That's a lot. So it's got to be Kirk Cousins. If rip it and flip it, what's good, my brother? Appreciate you dropping in. Appreciate you popping in yesterday. So it's got to be Kirk Cousins. You have Aiden O'Connell hot on your heels. And, I think one or two bad games, if the rest of the team looks good, I don't know if Klint Kubiak pulls the plug on, Kirk Cousins that early. But we don't know, right? We don't know what's going to happen on camp. So I think all the pressure, the biggest I should have put this question up here so people know what I'm talking about. But, yeah, I think the biggest pressure on the player is definitely Kirk Cousins on offense, because, we're only as good as our quarterback, right? And we've seen that over the years. You're only as good as your offensive line, but you're also only as good as your quarterback that's running everything. And then on defense, I feel like it's Max Crosby. I think Max Crosby has the most pressure. He needs to be able to show that he can, develop these guys, and it's not his job, but you need to make these guys want to be, want to work as hard as you, want to have that mentality and that work ethic. And to me, the guys in the building that have been behind him, they have not, developed that Max Crosby mentality or the work ethic or the energy or any of that, right? So I think Max Crosby, right, saying Flock Nation, I'll never get over that shit. Every time I hear his name, it makes me want to throw up in my mouth. And, he did that to himself. You didn't have to go on your podcast and say Flock Nation and, with a big smile on your face, all red, excited that you was getting out of Raider Nation, and then didn't even have to come crawling back, was just welcome back. So I think Max Crosby has an awful lot of pressure on his shoulders this year to be that guy, right? They drafted Crawford. I mean, Malcolm Kuntz can, have one of those years. I've said many times, I think Malcolm Kuntz has the opportunity to be a better player than Crosby, right? He's faster. He has better bend. He has a lot of moves. You just got to put it all together. So we'll see, man. But I think it's Max Crosby. What's up, bro? Jonas for some football. Can't wait, right? Can't wait. We'll pull up tomorrow because we're gonna break down some football tomorrow. It will be a non-monetized show, and we're gonna look at Spencer Burford with the 49ers, right? We're gonna look at some of his plays. We're gonna look at some Jack Best plays. Separation. How can he help this offense? Can he help this offense and include Kubiak? So tomorrow will be the show where, I believe we're going to break down some of these players that we brought in, some of these veterans, see how they play. And we're just going to go random, right? I'm not picking any highlights. I'm going to pick Quay Walker, Green Bay Packers, and I'll let y'all pick the week, right? Week 1, week 2, week 5. And we'll just go somewhere and we'll play like 5 reps and see if, if he's consistently, doing his shit, or if he's struggling, what his weakness is, if we can see within 5 reps, because I can't play too much, but that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. So pull up, we'll have a little bit of football. It won't be football, but it'll be some. Fernando Mendoza and either Kubiak or Leonard for this upcoming season. I agree, OG, 100%. Mendoza has, I I didn't even go with Mendoza because I don't think the pressure is going to be on him. I don't think he starts. And again, I'd be very surprised if he even plays before the preseason. I mean, we played the Rams week 5, and now they have Myles Garrett. I don't think you put him in then. Then you have the Bills. I don't think you put him in then, right? And it just gets worse and worse. Then you have the Rams. I mean, you have the Patriots that just got AJ Brown and their defense better. Then you have the Bills. Then you have the Rams and Myles Garrett. Just doesn't, unless they just really don't care and they feel like our scheme is better than your scheme, no matter who we're playing. And I hope to God the Raiders develop that flipping mentality. Our scheme is better than your scheme. Our players are better than your players. And we're not worried about who we're playing when we're playing Mendoza, right? We don't care who the defense is or who the offense is. We're putting in Mendoza when we think he's ready to go, and we don't care who the team is on the other side. And if they develop that mentality in this building, man, I will be way more bought in than I already am. Plenty of pressure on Jeanty. Jeanty as well. Keep it coming. Who else you got? Plenty of pressure on Ashton Jeanty, right? Picked 6th overall. Didn't have a 1,000-yard season. He said he was going to have, 2,000 yards rushing and another 500 receiving. Thought he was coming into the NFL like that. Turns out he wasn't very much like that. Okay, he was like that. Most of the time. Could have been more like that if he had some help. But he also could have made decisions, that made him better. And we'll see. Better offense, better offensive line. But, yeah, the pressure is on Ashton Jeanty as well. I think Rob Leonard as well as first-time DC. Yes, facts. I lost my camera? No, I just turned it off. I was trying to do something, but I never got to do it. Klint coming off a Super Bowl, Leonard's first DC job. I hear you. But you also, Klint Kubiak also has a lot more on his plate, right? He has the pressure of turning the nation around, taking the shield away from guys. You have that pressure in the building, lots of expectations. We know it's a rebuild, but that's a lot of pressure. Even being a Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl, you were still just the offensive coordinator. You didn't have to make sure special teams was good, defense was good, everybody was staying in the right hotel, everything was, on the plane or on the bus or whatever. So, yeah, I agree. Rob Leonard's, boy, he got some work to do. My guy Arnie Gaza has a question, and he says, do you believe is the Tom Brady effect our role? Or what do you believe? I don't know why I missed what. Jesus, I am blind. What do you believe is the Tom Brady effect our role in our organization? Well, my friend, I believe Tom Brady is the same as he was with Shedeur Sanders. You're going to come in, you're going to run some practices, not run, but you're going to give your 2 cents. You're going to be there. You're going to show up and show out, and then you're going to hand your phone number and say, all right, this is what I need you to work on. This is what I want to see you practicing on. This is what I think the team needs help in. This is, I think, where we're weak. This is, I think, where we're strong. And if you need anything, let me know. I'm out. Back to Florida. I think that's going to be it. He's not, he's going to be working during the season. He has no time for the Raiders. He has no time to be in the building. He has no time to go to games. He can watch them afterwards, but that's about it. So I think Tom Brady's role is pretty much, when we need you, we'll call you. And Spytek said those exact words himself. They asked what Tom Brady's role is. He said Tom Brady's role is pretty much letting us run the team how we see fit, right? If he doesn't like something that we see fit, he's going to call us and let us know. And we're going to have to push back on why we believe this is the right way. And if, it turns out we're wrong, then we're going to have to change it, right? So I don't think his role is going to be as big as everybody thinks. He's definitely the GOAT. He's in the building. He's the voice, but he's, I'm sure, being updated every day, right? All right, here's some film. Here's something for you to do, right? Check out film in practice. What do you see? Right? What do you see from this guy? What do you see from this guy running with the 2s? Do you think we should swap these guys over? I'm sure these are all questions Tom Brady gets asked every single day, right? I'm sure Spytek is on the phone with them. I'm sure Kubiak is, calling him. I'm sure Rick Dennison's calling him. I'm sure Mendoza probably just sits there and hits, hits call over and over and over again on voice, right? Or on video. So I'm sure he's in the building. He's in the building. If he sees something he doesn't like, it'll be known, and they'll have to discuss it. And if it's something they can't convince him, then more than likely they're going to have to go with Tom Brady says. He is the voice. But Spytek has just as much voice and as much pushback, and he has the balls to be that guy and argue. So I like Brady's role, right? You don't have to be involved. You don't have to worry about every little move you make or everything you do, picking up the phone and being like, is it okay if we do this? Nah, bro, I don't want our organization run like that. I want Spytek to have his own set of cojones, like grapefruits, right? Grapefruit cojones, to be able to make the call and say, bro, I'm doing this. And then I'm going to call Tom Brady and say, this is what we did, right? I think that's the way it's going to be. And I feel like that's going to be with Klint Kubiak. I don't feel like Klint Kubiak would have taken this job to be a yes man. I don't. I really don't. Now, if it was Davis Webb, right, no experience, I feel like that might have been more of a yes man kind of role, right? You do what we say. This is how we want it ran. But they went the different way. They went with Kubiak, has an experience, right, has a Super Bowl, has turned teams around everywhere he's went. And I think you give that man a voice and a say. So I'm sure it's the same way. I think he's going to make decisions. And if they're big decisions like cutting guys or whatever, he's going to say, hey, this is who I think doesn't deserve to be on this team, right? He's not cutting it, not showing up, not, putting in 100, whatever. So I believe that's the way it's going to go. We shall see, but that's my interpretation. That's what I'm hearing is, Brady is involved every day. He's talked to by everybody on the daily, but most of it's, just questions or things that they, trying to figure out, and who better to call than the GOAT, Tom Brady. Be sure that Gary has a ring as a player too. Absolutely 100%. Frank Weber, that's a hell of a comment, and not even a hot take. That's a legit statement. Damn well he's got his father on speed dial, right? Daddy is in the pocket, and anytime anything happens, right? Anything, you got a question with this, you got a question, with the player. How do I do this? Because again, he's been the offensive coordinator. He hasn't been the head coach. He hasn't had that role. So just like Mendoza, just like everybody else in the building, Rob Leonard, right? Everybody's learning together, and it might take time, or, it might just be a dynamic, connection in the building between everybody. And you might hit the ground running way faster than a lot of people think we are. But that's just a might, right? There's a big if. But definitely Gary Kubiak, he's got a lot to say. I'm sure they're sending him tapes too, being like, yo, I'm having a problem with this guy's footwork, right? What do I got to do? Or, man, do you know how I can get this guy to get his hands, hitting the damn target instead of missing and hitting out here on the top of the shoulder pads or underneath the shoulder pads? I need to hit the dude in the shoulder, right? Push them back, because when you push somebody in their chest, it's a little bit of balance. But when you hit somebody in their shoulders, it actually forces them to lean back, and it's technique. So maybe Gary Kubiak has ways of doing that, right? You never know. You never know. So it's definitely, the Raiders have so many guys in the building and so many people that are knowledgeable of football and can ask pretty much, or not pretty much, ask any question you want to know. They've been there and they've done that, right? And not, there's a lot of teams that have those options and have those players in the building, but not like the Raiders. I don't feel like nobody has a 7-time Super Bowl champion in Tom Brady calling the shots, right? Nobody has that. It's just us, right? No, I mean, some teams have a head coach that has a father that they can call. But has that father been around to win 3 Super Bowls? Probably not. Probably not, right? You have a guy like Rick Dennison, that's been there, done that, seen it all, changed a lot of offenses, made a lot of offensive guys that were, no names to Pro Bowlers. So Definitely love what's going on. Starting out with Kirk Cousins, it's not bad until the O-line is figured out. Ease Mendoza into the third or fourth quarter. Then most teams' defense will be worn down. The third or fourth. Oh, you mean of the season? I thought you meant the game. I was like, wait, we're swapping quarterbacks during the game? No. I won't play that right now, but I was gonna play it again. But yeah, if third or fourth quarter of the season, you're saying? I think that's relevant, right? I think that's relevant because we can't put on our Raider binders and overlook the fact that a lot of people still say Mendoza in other drafts wouldn't have been a number one guy. So do we have to treat him as a guy that probably could have been drafted 15th, 20th, maybe in a second round? There's a lot of people that believe Mendoza was only a second round pick and should have not went number one. He only went number one because he was the best quarterback available, and that was our need, right? There's a lot of people that believe that. Now, can Mendoza prove them wrong? I absolutely believe so. But if they're right, that means it's longer for him to develop, right? It's going to take longer for him to catch on and be ready and confident where he can just go out there and perform without thinking, right? What is a quarterback's biggest problem? Mental. You're thinking too much. Guys throw interceptions. They start thinking too much. They start getting scared. They start throwing the ball, late, throwing it early, second guessing their decision, pump faking. How many times did we see Geno Smith last year get ready to throw the ball to a wide open man and then be like, oh shit, take a sack, right? How many times, bro? It was a lot. It was an awful lot, more than I could count. So guys second guessing themselves, right? Not knowing what's going on is a big problem. And you don't want to put a guy out there until you know that he's not second guessing himself. He's ready to go. So the end of the season, that all depends on, are the Raiders 6-8, right? With 4 games, 3 games left. Are the Raiders 8-6 with 3 games left, right? All that matters. Are the Raiders 2-12? Are they 2-12 with 3 games left? Then come on. If it gets to that point, Mendoza should already be out there. Or should he? Do you really want to throw Mendoza out there on a horrible team that's 2-8 and be like, okay, well, Kirk Cousins couldn't do it. We tried Aiden O'Connell. He couldn't do it. Let's throw the rookie out there, the first overall pick, and see if he can do it, right? So the Raiders, you can't answer these questions, man. We're still in shorts. We're still in helmets, and people want to, ask questions like it's the middle of the season, and that's hard to do, right? So it's very, very hard to speculate or to project or predict when the Raiders are going to put him out there. I feel like it's when he's ready, and nobody can say when he's going to be ready. It might not be till next year. There's a very big possibility with all the questions he's asking in the building tells me 2 things. One, yes, he's very observant and he has to know, probably ADHD and has to know the reason behind it, why you're doing it, what's the outcome, and how I explain it to my guys, right? If you have to know all that, you're not going to be ready week 6, week 8, week 10, week 12. That's going to take a lot of time to learn a playbook, to learn defenses, and then asking all these questions and having these questions answered enough to where he feels comfortable to go out there and put it on the field and articulate it to his offense, right? That could take some time. So, man, I would love to see him this season, third and fourth quarter. I agree. Greg sounds very like a very nice spot, right? Around the bye week, you give your team 2 weeks to go out there and work Mendoza to put some of the things that are his strengths that Kirk Cousins can't do and is not able to do, right? You could throw some of those things into the game plan and see if you can, go out there and win some games if we're having a bad season, or, go out there and win more games if we're having an okay season. So a lot of things need to be answered, and we got plenty of time. Never mind, just had it off, right? I'm that far behind. Question: who is your favorite player on the roster, and what do you think who needs to be cut ASAP? Arnie Garza. Why are we doing that? I don't have a favorite. I don't have a favorite player on the roster. You know me, Arnie Garza. I like the underdogs. That's why I always talking about AOC. I like the guys that show that, you know, they can possibly be something just given the opportunity. So I like everybody in the silver black. I don't care who it is, right? We don't have an Alex Kappa. We don't have a Stone Forsythe, right? We don't have any of those guys, a Geno Smith. We don't have any of those guys that every time I say their name, I'm having to spit the throw up out of my mouth, right? Those guys irked the hell out of me, irritated me to no end. Right now, I haven't found that guy yet, Arnie Garza. So don't make me look for him. Don't make me look for him, Arnie Garza. I'll have to block. No, I was kidding. So yeah, man, I don't know. I don't have that guy that needs to be cut ASAP. I don't have a favorite, right? The guy I want to succeed the most, you already know, is Aiden O'Connell. I want to see him play. But if we're going other than that, man, there's a list of guys, right? I would love to see the Decamerion Richardson come out and, you know, actually show he was worth a 3rd round pick, get his opportunity and show that he could be that guy, right? Even if it's, you know, not every down. I would love to see Darian Porter come out and take that, you know, take one of those starting jobs and show that that's his job, right? And he's not giving it up. A lot of guys, man. Cody Lindenberg. I like all these guys that don't get to play, right? Mike Washington. Those are my favorite players, right? The guys that aren't in the media, that aren't in the limelight, the guys that do the small things that help this team that are overlooked, the big dogs in the middle, right? The offensive lineman, the defensive lineman like Jonah Laulu, right? That's putting pressures, getting sacks, Tonka Hemingway. So those are my favorite type dudes. It's not a Max Crosby or a Trey Tucker or a Mendoza. And who do we need to cut? I don't have anybody. I don't think anybody pissed me off enough last year that made it to this roster or made it to the team in camp. So I definitely want to see what we have with everybody in the building. If they feel like somebody needs to go, then, you know, move on, bring in another piece. But I feel like the guys we brought in has a nice chemistry, a nice bond. From what I hear in the building is, right, these guys, you can't slide a card through them, right? You can't slide a piece of paper in between them. This is a tight-knit group already, and that is because of Andrew Janoko. That is because of Klint Kubiak, and that is also because of Rob Leonard, right? They have made these guys like I raised my kids, my son and my daughter, right? You only have you, right? It's only you two. Mom and pops ain't going to be around forever. There's no other brothers and sisters, right? Cousins are all different state. Make sure that you take care of each other. And they're still like that. They talk every day, you know. So when you build that tight chemistry bond, which the coaches are trying to do, that's huge. That's huge for this team. And for that, I feel like we have a lot of weak links, but I changed my tune. I'm not going to call players out no more because I started to realize that, man, I can't do the shit these players do, right? I mean, not at my age, maybe back in the day, I could have did some of it, but I can't do what they do. And for us as content creators or fans to say this guy is trash or this guy is garbage, you know, and y'all know I don't mean it, right? Y'all know I don't mean trash or garbage. This is the way I speak and talk. None of these dudes are garbage or trash, or they wouldn't be in the position they're in or even made it to the NFL, right? So I don't want to put, I don't really have anybody on the roster as of yet. But believe me, Arnie Garza, the first guy on that list. Actually, no, I won't say who I want to say because it's Kirk Cousins. You know, I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna give him a chance the same way I did Geno. But I just have that vibe that I had with Geno, and y'all know how much I talked about Geno last year. It was not very nice. His family probably hates me. I won't do that about Kirk this year because I don't think he'll be playing that long. But I'm tired of retreads coming in, just being thrown right into the mix and saying, all right, you're the quarterback because I'm the new head coach and I brought you in and I say this is your job. I'm tired of that shit. I don't want to see that in Raider Nation no more. I want to see a competition. And I don't care, again, if it's, Fernando Mendoza, if it's if it's Kirk Cousins, if it's Aiden O'Connell, or if it's the hell's his name? Jacob. Shit. I forgot again. Yeah, the other quarterback, right? If it's that dude, it doesn't matter. I just want to see a competition. I don't want to hear, oh my God, Aiden O'Connell had 3 touchdowns today. Oh my God, Aiden O'Connell had 3 touchdowns today. And oh my God, he had 2 touchdowns. And, whatever, right? I don't want to hear like we've had the last 2 years of this quarterback is making this quarterback look bad, but we're going with the quarterback that looks bad because that's the guy that I brought in and I'm the head coach or I'm the general manager. I'm tired of that. So I don't have anybody on the roster to cut ASAP, but I'm sure I got a couple in my head, right? But we'll see what they do in camp. One was a 4th round pick last year, if it tells you anything. So pissed my Hawks are gonna have to compete against Myles Garrett this season. Oh, good Lord. Rams need a super team to beat us though. Can't develop homegrown talent. Rams definitely what the Rams' definition of F them picks, right? Absolutely 100%. That yeah, you gotta play Myles Garrett, bro. That's rough. I feel for the Seattle, I feel for your Seattle team, man. They lost the offensive coordinator. I don't see any scenario where this team's offense is even close to what Klint Kubiak had it as. And then you have to play Myles Garrett twice a year, not just once. Not just once. You might have to play them 3 times if they're good, like y'all played them last year. Damn. Could you imagine having to play Myles Garrett 3 times a year? I'm sorry, my brother. I didn't mean to rub that in. It's all love. It's all love. Puka Nacua. But not what? Puka but not puke, LOL. What do you mean? Rams are the favorite to win the Super Bowl. I Fifth River Rat. Man, shout out to you. Shout out to the river. My favorite spot to be. 120, man. That's obvious. I mean, just look at their offense. They have Puka, they have Devontae, they have Williams as a running back. They have an offensive line. They have Matthew Stafford. They might be the best coach in football. If not, he's top 5, right? Might be top 3. I don't know where Sean McVay is, but he's up there. So, I could see that. I could see the Rams winning the Super Bowl. But it's gonna suck when they lose to the Raiders. I'm just saying. Yeah, they can't beat us in the Super Bowl. What are you talking about, bro? Talking crazy shit. All right, pressure on the 3-headed line. Back Baker Dragon live to their contract. We gave them in free agency. Facts. Linderbaum as well. Oh, the pressure is on Linderbaum. If I sat up here and said, "Oh my God," I was one of those ones that was, we're gonna sign Tyler Linderbaum. No, it was not me. It was not me. Y'all know I don't front like that, right? I don't flip flop. I was not on the Tyler Linderbaum train. I did not want to pay $81 million for 3 years for a center that might not be here after the 3 years, right? I don't know who has been a very, very dominant in the run game, but in the passing game, I mean, it's up and down. He's 25. He can learn, right? Rick Dennison might make him better, but what happens if he's Andre James in the passing game? What happens if he's JPJ in the passing game? What happens if he's Jordan Meredith in the passing game, right? What happens? What happens then? That'll be a show for Thursday. What happens? What if? We're gonna do another what if show because that one last time was fun, and there's a lot of scenarios we could what if, right? Shout out to all the people in the building. Shout out to all the people who keep believing. Shout out to the people popping in. Shout out to all y'all. Shout out to all of y'all. Hopefully he's not Tyler Linden bum. Ooh, golly, that hurts. That hurts too. Yeah, we're gonna break down Tyler Lindenbaum tomorrow. When we break down some of the other offensive linemen, it'll be an offensive lineman show. We're gonna show Tyler Lindenbaum. We're gonna show some DJ Glaze. Maybe not DJ Glaze. I don't think I could do DJ Glaze like that. I don't think that's fair to show some tape on him last year. It might be nice to show his rookie year. Maybe one or two play. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I hate to do DJ Glaze like that. That's crazy. Myles Garrett to the Rams. AJ Brown to the Pats hurts us. Okay. How does that hurt us? We play the Rams. AJ Brown, that's gonna be nasty. But just what if Jermon McCoy is ready? What if he's out there? I'll put him up there against AJ Brown. Is he going to lose some? Yes. Is he going to win some? I hope so, right? But I feel like he has the speed and the size to cover AJ Brown. If not, I think Eric Stokes played pretty well, and that would be a fun matchup to watch, right? As far as Myles Garrett, he had 2 sacks against us last year. That's a good thing. He only had 2. I thought he was going to have 8. I really had a bet where he had 4 sacks on us because I figured there was no way we could stop Myles Garrett. But guess what? The Raiders' offensive line last year kind of stopped Myles Garrett. So we'll see. It could hurt us. More than likely, it's, I mean, it's definitely not going to help us. It's definitely not going to help us. Not going to help us. I just like that there is a clear direction this year. The whole offensive staff lives and breathes this scheme. Nice. I love it. Lots of the defensive staff has worked together before. Clear direction from these players. Shout out to my guy, Ruben Rust. Is this the first time you've been here, Ruben? Name sounds familiar. Well, I know I don't see you in the chat, but welcome. Like, subscribe, follow if you like this kind of content. And that's a great take, man. Great take. Definitely 100%. There's definitely a clear direction. The offensive staff breathes this scheme. They've, he's seen the scheme. Klint Kubiak has seen the scheme ran since he was a little kid watching his, father run it in Denver, right? So Denver knows the scheme too. I'm sure they got some old tape somewhere. I'm just saying. But yeah, and there's a clear direction, which there hasn't been a clear direction for a long time. Clear direction on offense and defense. I talked about that too when we first put the staff together. A lot of guys that have had stops together on other defenses that kind of know how guys work, right? Now it's been a couple years, but you don't forget, how a guy thinks about football when you've been in a room with them for 2 or 3 years. So lots of, past mending together, and appreciate the comment, man. Great comment. Some of the fans are ready before Mendoza is. Some fans are ready before Mendoza is. Yeah, you're going to have that. You're going to have that. As soon as he plays bad, whether it's Aiden O'Connell, whether it's Klint Kubiak, Klint Kubiak, Kirk Cousins. Why are their names so with the k? There's another Arkansas Razorback pass rusher coming out next year. Quincy Rose. Thoughts on him? Quincy Rose is an absolute freak, dude. And if he would have came out this year, he would have been a 2nd-round pick. And the way that the defensive line went this year, I would not be surprised if he would have maybe snuck up into 32 with some of those teams, that had those late picks, right? Quincy Rose Jr. is going to have a big year in Arkansas. He has weapons up and down that defensive line this year. They have weapons in the backfield. They have finally weapons, more than one. Last year it was just pretty much Xavier Sorey, who is now Las Vegas Raider. So big hopes for Quincy Rose this year. And again, if he would have came out last year, could have been definitely a 2nd-round pick. And who knows, at the combine might have snuck in, might have snuck up there. So yeah, I'm watching Quincy Rose a lot. Arkansas Raiders, right? I keep calling them that. Arkansas Raiders. The Raiders like to pick guys from Arkansas. They've throughout the years, they've, taken a lot of Arkansas Razorbacks, and lately they've taken a couple. So Quincy Rhodes is a guy that they should definitely have their eye on. We know we need a number one edge, and he could be that guy. So violent hands, physical, and he's going to have help next to him for finally this year. Glad to watch. I'm glad to stop watching Gridiron Apex. It was getting dead, annoying. What? Downcrediting players when players have potential. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Everybody has their opinion on players. I'm gonna stop with the downgrading, because again, these dudes are all special. Some of them just don't have the mentality, or are put in the right position to succeed. Ray Monster, what's good, my brother? Go Raiders! First time seeing you in here. Appreciate you pulling up. Rod28X, what's good? What's good? Go Rams! That's gonna be fun. Come back in week 6. We could talk about that game a little bit more, or before. Oh, it's all love, man. I got to pick on Seattle. Early predictions for the Raiders were, damn it, I did not write down. I was going to drop a link. I'll just do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. We'll watch some videos. I'll drop a link if anybody wants to pull up and watch videos or give their take on videos as we talk ball. We'll do that tomorrow. That will be tomorrow's show. Tuesday, it'll be live pull-up show. Everybody pull up. We'll show a little bit of film. You can talk about it if you're into the film session. If not, we'll just put it on pause and talk ball, right? So tomorrow, make plans, put it in your notes, put it in your books. Tomorrow, somewhere around this time, or same time I went live today. I don't know. Rams not losing, bro. You don't know. You don't know. What happens to Matthew Stafford in his glass back? Say that 3 times fast. Glass back, has problems, right? What happens to the offensive line? Just that one hit racks him. And then what? You got Ty Simpson? You telling me Ty Simpson? Come on, bro. Come on. I'll be happy as hell to play with Ty Simpson, even as good as that roster is. So anything could happen, bro. Anything could happen. And Seattle, Klint Kubiak's offense put belt to ass on your Rams last year twice. They played 3 times. They put belt to ass 3 times. The offense did, right? So we have that advantage. Klint Kubiak knows the Rams. He knows what McVay's trying to do over there. He knows what they're trying to do on defense and how to go about beating it, and might have the personnel. So you never know, bro. You never know. It's the NFL any given Sunday. And we owe the damn Rams for losing in the 4th quarter to Baker Mayfield. We've been waiting for a long time to make that up. Well, at least we beat y'all 2 to 3 times last season. Yeah. See, talk that shit. Raiders over here on X as well. Nice. Shout out to you on X. You're probably the only one there, but if you are there, share it out, right? Share the live. It's been 2 hours and 20 minutes. I thought it was only gonna be 2 hours, and I'm still here, and I didn't even get through all my shit. Damn it. What's my next ones? All right, winners and losers we talked about. Winners and losers from Raiders OTAs. Got that. We could delete that. We don't need to delete that. Rookies pushing for veteran spots. We will have to continue that tomorrow because, damn it, it's a little bit late. But I have a couple rookies that are pushing for those spots. Latest Raiders news, rumors, and updates. We got to all that at the beginning. The last one is John Spytek, Tom Brady, Klint Kubiak. What John Spytek, Tom Brady, and Klint Kubiak may be planning next. All that and more tomorrow on Raiders Unleashed. And we will be doing offensive line breakdown of the guys that we brought in free agency. That way I don't have to show DJ Glaze or JPJ or any of those guys. We're just going to show the free agent guys that we brought in. And then if that goes well, we will drop a link and we will talk to some of y'all, get to put face to names, which will be a first. So make sure y'all pull up to that. Appreciate everybody that rocked with me, that stuck with me this whole time. I appreciate everybody that showed love, all the mods, all the people that commented, all the people that liked, all the people, if any, subscribed, and all that. So shout out to everybody. Much love. Protect your mind, yourself, your loved ones, and your family. And always, man, if you're going through something and you need to talk, you know where I'm at. Hit me up. Peace out. Much love. Raiders.
The rebellion. Raiders Unleashed on the screen. Hit that subscribe. It's the RaidersRebel in the building. Silver and black. 2026. Yeah. Welcome to the desert. You know what time it is. Let's go! Left the bay for the lights, now we lighting up the strip. Collision in the desert, yeah, we built a mothership. No more dirt on the diamond, no more Coliseum rain. Just a blacked out dome where we deal out the pain. We're the villains of the league, always been the outcast. Built on Al Davis Ghost and we're built to outlast. The torch is still burning, it's a lifestyle, a creed. In the city of sin, we're the only ones you need. Silver and black is back, check the throne. The Raiders got a new home in the dome. The nation is rising, we're coming for everyone. Forget the other 31, we're the only ones. Yeah, we're unleashed. Rebel with the vision, Raider Nation worldwide. Making that precision, one mission, one pride. Until the game is won, fuck the other 31. We're second to none. Check the box office, yeah, the leadership is changing. Tom Brady in the office, things are rearranging. The GOAT is a minority owner, that's a fact. Bringing that winning DNA, no turning back. From the field to the booth, now he's part of the shield. Watching from the suite while we're dominant on the field. The rebels on the mic, Raiders Unleashed on the tube. Giving you the raw truth, we don't move like a rube. I'm a rebel with a cause, and the cause is the win. Blacking out the sun, let the nightmare begin. Chiefs, boats, and the ponies, they can all catch a fade. They're just stepping stones for the history we made. From the pirate on the helmet to the patch on the eye. We're the heartbeat of Vegas under that desert sky. Turn the volume up high, let the channel go live. In the Raider Nation, only the strongest survive. Silver and black is back, check the throne. The Raiders got a new home in the dome. The nation is rising, we're coming for everyone. Forget the other 31, we're the only ones. Yeah, we're unleashed. Rebel with the vision, Raider Nation worldwide. Making that precision, one mission, one pride. Until the game is won, fuck the other 31. We're second to none. You hear the RAIDERS chant. They thought we'd go soft in the desert, they can't. We brought the autumn wind to the 702. The rebel and unleashed, coming straight for you. Raiders Unleashed, you know where to find us. RaidersRebel, keeping it 100. Vegas is ours, the dome is ours. The shield is forever. Raiders Unleashed on the screen. Hit that subscribe. It's the RaidersRebel in the building.